Welcome back to another episode of the Peer to Peer Podcast, the big episode 51, man. If y'all watching on YouTube, congratulations. You chose the best platform. Make sure to go.
Know the gang.
But hey, man, not going to forget about y'all Apple Podcasts. He will drop a little 5-star. Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher. Fuck all the Audio Mac people.
Jesus Christ.
And shout out to the word of mouth people, man. Have they done anything of noteworthy in the last few days?
Well, the last podcast was arguably the best one we've done so far.
Oh, no.
It's on pace.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely on pace.
One. Yeah.
And so that was the thing. Oh, yeah, somebody sent me my DMs a TikTok where somebody was like making fun of you on mac and cheese night.
I saw that.
You did, for real?
Yeah, I feel because everyone keeps sending me the goddamn tweets. Somebody went to the goddamn grocery store and was like, and he just took pictures of random items. He's like, "Yo, agent, you need these for the house?"
Oh man, but yeah, that's last. Shout out to y'all. Last podcast was a ting. They got Pink replying to it, so that was that too.
What does that mean?
Fearless Pink, she reacted to it.
Oh yeah,
because I think they made her do it in the stream.
What'd she say about you?
She said, do I like Hazel more because she thick?
Oh man,
that
is not the kind of response that I was expecting. Well, she trolled back though, so I peeped that, man.
True.
It's all good fun, right?
Of course.
Of course.
I mean, she already know who the queen is, so.
Who are you really coming for then? Like you trying to get like a rotation of both?
No, what? That's the wildest shit I've ever heard you say. Nah, bro. Like I just said, bro. They already know who the queen is. Both of them queens. Let's get that straight.
Who's a real queen? Like, let's say you had to choose one.
But there's one queen I'm aiming for. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that's Pink. That's Pink, bro.
Oh man, you know what I'm saying.
But they both queens though. I mean, let's not ever get that mistaken.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, that's good.
Oh man.
Hey man, I've been telling people the last couple days. Actually, I don't tell people no more. People just find out that I'm on like radical diets. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been a frustrating experience informing the world about all of the misinformation that's been spread from birth. You know, you believe, right, that most of what you learned growing up, at least nutritionally, was cap. They taught you about the pyramid. Did they have the pyramid in your school?
Yeah.
And they taught you how important grains were?
But I just recently learned how much of a cap that was.
Me too. Like maybe 6-7 years ago.
Yeah. Like I just, not when I was in school. I learned that like when I was past high school, out of college, and they were like explaining like, like that whole shit is just shenanigans.
Exactly.
And I was like, that's crazy.
So first of all, there's an enormous amount of people with a gluten intolerance that don't know. They eat it anyway. And like they might have some reaction. They might have bumps. It might be like maybe like they has all kind of different reactions. I tried being gluten free for 4 years. I'm not gonna lie, that's a miserable life to live because everything has gluten. You don't realize it till you cut it out. So I just been trying random stuff because I learned. So when you learn that everything you was taught growing up about you have to eat this much grains and this much dairy and this much meat, you're like, all right, so what the fuck am I supposed to eat? So I literally just been watching a fuck ton of nutritional videos over the last few years. Even while I was gaining weight, like there's plenty. I knew how to lose it. I just couldn't get myself to do it. So now that I'm losing weight, people will ask me questions like, "Oh, so like what are you eating?" And my answer is, I want a carnivore diet. And they're like, "What is that?" And I go, just meats and seafood, and occasionally cheese. And then they go, "What?"
Occasionally cheese?
Yeah, I don't have cheese mostly. Like I haven't had cheese in like 5-6 days.
Okay. But when you do
when
have
I
cheese,
do have cheese, man, it is good.
The whole pack, right?
Of course.
Oh my God.
Of course.
Jesus.
So, I mean, the carnivore diet's perfect because it's also keto. You're in a ketogenic state the entire time. I'm eating food that's delicious. Like this new spot I found right here, bro. They keep the fat on the goddamn lamb and the beef. Oh, I hate when they cut the fat off because I could just take the fat off if I don't want it because it's very excessive fat. So I'll take some of it off because I'm not trying to eat straight fat. But then I like when there's just fat and meat combination. Oh, it tastes like glory. Oh, I can't explain it to you, man. I'm a huge fan of food. So, and then this will happen downstairs when I'm bringing it up. And then Waleed will go, because like Waleed's like, oh, but it gets crazier. He does extended fasts. Whoa. He's like, because I'm trying to do a 14-day extended fast right now.
Okay.
And then people are like, what? Because that breaks every imaginable belief you have about eating. 14 days without food, that has to be bad for you, right? That's what you immediately think. Now, there's not a lot of data in science on extended fast, but the data that has been done says that there's plenty of positive benefits. So this is actually the one thing I'm mainly concerned about. Two things, actually. Loose skin. And so I'm doing things as I lose weight to try and minimize the amount of loose skin I have. And two is my resting metabolic rate. So if you did nothing all day and you just sat down, how much calories would your body burn? Mm-hmm. And as you lose weight, your body actually adjusts because it's trying to survive.
Yeah.
It requires less energy to do the things you usually do.
Yeah.
In survival, that's fucking great for you. But as you're trying to lose weight, that's inconvenient because by the time you lose all the weight, now I have to eat like 1,300 calories just to maintain weight.
Yeah.
That's no food. Imagine doing that every single day. So I learned that your resting metabolic rate, there's a bunch of studies that came out saying that improves that. So not only do you lose a ton of weight on it, but as long as you're getting electrolytes and you know there's no real medical condition you have, it's largely believed that it's healthy for you. But then like when I tell people that, they're like, that doesn't make sense to me though, because growing up I was taught eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, maybe have some cereal for breakfast, lunch maybe you could have a sandwich, and then dinner you could have some pasta. That's what everybody was taught growing up. So then it doesn't make sense for them because like how does that exist? But so I thought about it, right? And I'm not really much of a conspiracy theorist kind of guy, but think about it for a moment. Why would they promote that? Why would they promote fasting? An extended fast?
Why would they promote it?
Because you're not eating. All the companies.
Oh, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the companies that get paid for you to eat food, deliver food, create food, don't get paid when you're on an extended fast.
Oh, well, yeah, because, well, not only that, like the people who funded the idea of what the pyramid was Kellogg's. Like one of the companies was Kellogg's.
Exactly.
And so the idea of you eating grains for breakfast, which is cereal, was like the idea, like even like the concept of you eating cereal for breakfast was like, oh, that's good for you.
Great for you.
Which is just ridiculous.
Like I deadass thought if I ate Special K every day, that I was just gonna fucking like weight was gonna just drip off.
Remember when we was growing up and they had the Honey Nut Cheerios?
Yes.
And they were like trying to literally convince to you like this is actually good for you.
And my mom went out and got it. She's like, no, this is healthy right here. Remember, my mom used to mix the good ones like Frosted Flakes with regular Cheerios. I'd be like, oh, Mom, I hate when you do this. But she knows that if we didn't do that, nobody would eat the regular Cheerios. And then they would come out and say like, in like chocolate, no trans fat in the chocolate, or they would say like, this is whole grain Cheerios though, guys. So trust me, it's healthy.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you fall for it though, because you don't know. And who really is looking at nutritional facts? Who's doing that?
But I don't even think it was a nutritional fact thing. I think it was just more so growing up, you were just taught you got to eat a lot of grains.
So that's the only way you knew it to be.
Yeah.
So that when I'm about to lose, I'm hoping if I could lose 6 more pounds by the end of the month, I'd be down 100 pounds in a year, which is crazy. So I want to say I did that. So when people ask and I tell them like I did a carnivore diet and I'm doing every day 24-hour fast at least. I never eat 2 times a day ever. But I'll occasionally push it to 48 hours. Sometimes I'll do an extended fast, 36, 52, 72, depending. But I'm trying a 14-day fast. I've never done a fast more than 6 days. I'll try 14-day. Do you have no energy? No, plenty of energy. All you have to do is get your electrolytes in. You know what I'm saying? So I ordered, Dr. Berg on YouTube.
No.
Man, he's popping on YouTube, nutritional information, etc. And he has like this electrolyte powder. So I'm gonna just throw that in the water. You get your electrolytes, and you're valid. That's crazy that eating less reduces your resting metabolic rate. Eating nothing actually increases it. How fucking crazy is that? So by the time I lose the weight, I want to be able to still eat good. Mm-hmm. And also have the loose skin condition not wildly out of control. So I watched a whole bunch of videos on how to manage that, etc.
What they tell you got to put on like a lot of muscle or something like that, or try to put some
muscle is part of it, but also like there's lotions you can use and you could just press it into your skin, etc. And it's supposed to help like reduce because your skin just wildly stretched. And did you watch my Instagram story yesterday?
No.
NBA 2K League posted, actually it's on their TikTok too. They posted this from Vegas trip last year. And I don't really have a lot of videos of me at my biggest because I didn't like being recorded. Mm-hmm. And it was just me round as shit, just still mad entertaining and everything, but round as shit. And you could see it and you'd be like, man, what the fuck? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I like seeing videos like that, and I don't have a lot of them myself because they're either deleted or there's plenty of times where I just cut things out the video because like, man, I look too fat in that clip. I don't want the top comment to be about how big I got. Swear to God.
Tough.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a daily thing now. Almost feels like me explaining why what I'm doing is not crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because remember when intermittent fasting was like it just started popping in 2012, 2013?
Yeah.
If you intermittent fasted, did 18-hour fast and 6-hour window, people thought you were crazy. Now, very normal. Even when I was fasting for Ramadan growing up, people, wow, how do you do that? 16, 18-hour fast. How do you, wow. But it's like, man, that was just normal to me growing up. We just fasted. It was normal to me. And it's even easier on a water fast because I could actually drink water. In Ramadan, you can't drink water. That's the hardest part about fasting. It's not drinking water. Crazy, man. If you just do some research and analysis, ladies and gentlemen, you'd be surprised how many of the stuff you just grew up believing to be true is indeed not true. And also, fuck the government for ever rolling with that and just spreading misinformation. I get they might not have known, but you can't have the companies that stand to benefit fund the studies that creates our legislation. You don't see a problem with that?
Not only that, it wasn't even like, I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking it up right now. You can look it up on the thing. Like on the pyramid, in contrast to grains, where was like fruits and vegetables? Because like, I feel like it was like a small, like it was a noticeably small portion in contrast to grains.
I don't know which year this is because apparently they have updated ones. But I did 2006 because it's around the time I grew up. So
I've never seen that one where milk was at the bottom. That's the most ridiculous shit.
That's water. It's water.
Oh, I thought it was milk. I was like, nigga, that's crazy as fuck.
So there's water at the bottom. We could agree water.
I've never
is
seen
the
that
most
either
important.
though. I've never seen that one.
Which one have you seen?
I think the very first one.
This one here?
Yeah.
This is the one on Wiki. Okay, so the very bottom is bread, cereal. They separated cereal. Just to let y'all know how important of a meal that is.
Imagine a nigga telling you cereal, like, that's one of the biggest things. Like, you just keep eating cereal, nigga. Cereal.
Rice and pasta group.
Sick.
And that's the most important one, by the way.
You know what's so crazy? I actually think that that's what that potentially may have just normalized niggas eating starch for every meal.
Exactly. I agree. 100%.
That's crazy.
The next one is less important, is fruits. Now, fruits is great because it's the only natural sugar you're gonna get. Doesn't mean it's great. You don't want to spam the sugar, but you eat an apple and you know that it's not gonna be as bad for you as a goddamn Butterfinger bar. You feel me? And the vegetables. Vegetables got half of the bar. Fruits got the other half of the bar because they're less important.
And
than
the bar
cereal
itself is not even as big as the grains, bro. Crazy as shit, bro.
Okay, as we go up, I did not grow up learning this one. Ours looked a little different, but it was around the same thing. Is meat, poultry, fish, dry beans, eggs, and nuts group. And you know the dairy industry, they lobby heavy.
Yeah.
More than I think any other industry, maybe more than the meat industry. They go hard for this shit, and they still ended up here. And then on this side, milk, yogurt, and cheese group. What is up here? Sugar. Fats and oils and sweets?
Yep.
Wait.
They literally was like, they were like, yo, you can have sweets. Like, you can eat some sugar. Like,
oh my God.
Let's not ever get that fucked up. It's just going to be at the top, like a small portion.
Look closer.
And it doesn't even, it looks like it's just as big as the fucking milk and sugar. I mean, milk and
Look, it says added sugar and added fat belonged on the pyramid.
Why does that look just as big as the sugar? The sugar portion looks just as big as the milk and the egg and like egg and
yeah, it does kind of feel like that. It's maybe because they tried to make it 3D. I don't know. But they
scaled that. That's looking at it now even worse. The way that they scaled it, even if you go to a 2D one, it's scaled like that.
I can't find this one right here.
That's 3D.
This is also not the right thing. At the bottom is daily exercise and weight control.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen this one either. This is so interesting to me. So they would just fund data and use very biased. This is why I hate when people say numbers don't lie. Yes, they do. You can make a number say whatever the fuck you want, as long as you know how to twist it. And that's what they did growing up. They sat us in school and were like, this is for you guys. And they taught us this. You know how crazy that is.
Not only that, they used to have posters on the wall like it was fucking propaganda, and like you will walk through the hallways, just like nigga. When you was like, it was like as soon as you go in the lunch line, on the wall they'll be like, make sure you drink a whole bunch of milk. Here's a fucking pyramid.
Do you drink milk still?
No, I can't.
Because you're lactose intolerant.
I don't even know what's crazy. I don't even know, because when I was growing up, I wasn't.
You could develop it though.
I know, but so then there was like a stretch where when I just started making, because I was growing up, especially when I first got to high school, I used to eat cereal like routinely.
Yeah, me too.
Like it used to be like a late night snack.
Oh, late night. Okay.
Yeah. Like it wasn't like not like early morning. Like I would just like, this is what I'm snacking on, cereal. Mm-hmm. Then there was like a stretch where I just didn't eat it. I guess this may have been around the time when I first started on YouTube, and I was also working as well. So I was making good enough money to where I could just eat other shit, mm-hmm. right? So then I stopped doing that for like maybe like 3 or 4 months. And then the next time I had cereal, it just fucked up my stomach like really, really bad.
Word. So that's not an abnormal thing. The same thing with the carnivore diet, actually. Some people use the carnivore diet because it's an extreme elimination diet.
Yeah.
So like, let's say you're having problems and you don't know what food is causing it. You could try the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
And then you slowly add foods back. But what Jordan Peterson was saying when he tried it is that the negative is that when you try other foods for the first time, if it's a food that you have a bad reaction to, the reaction is way, way worse.
Okay.
So it might have been the absence of it and then the reintroduction, your body just hated it. But yeah, I used to, just the thought of not having milk in the house growing up was crazy. Like if we didn't have milk, like it was a panic, and my mom would get to the store to get some milk because everybody has milk at their house. You need milk for everything. And I haven't had milk now since I left home. Is
this on there? This shit is literally saying eat donuts, nigga. Like,
see how it looks? Okay, let me see that one. I got to find that one. I have to find that one.
I just put in food group pyramid.
Please let me find out donuts is at the top.
Yeah, there you go. That shit literally says eat donuts, nigga.
Okay, so wait. At the bottom is the most important, of course, the breads, the pastas, and the cereals. Next is the fruits and vegetables. Then is the meat, fish, milk, and eggs. And of course, you have to have the 5% of donuts, the fat, oils, sugars, and sweets.
It's literally candy in that shit, like candy and donuts.
There's a cupcake there.
A cupcake,
vegetable oil, just regular ass like canola oil. That's horrible
just
for you.
Just oil.
Because that vegetable oil will start inflammation and a million future problems. I only use coconut oil now. I don't use nothing else but coconut oil and extra virgin olive oil. Period. So this is also another interesting thing about the food stuff. Growing up, they vilified fat. Now, trans fat, okay, horrible fat for you, boom. But they said, like, you can't have a diet high in fats. It's horrible for you. You're going to get high cholesterol and you're going to have a whole bunch of heart problems. Mm-hmm. Turns out that's not the case at all. Plenty of people right now is common, but back in the day it wasn't common. Now it's on keto diets. And that's high on fat. It just depends where you're getting your fats from. So it's like, imagine trying to convince someone don't have that avocado back in the day because it has too much fat. That's so wild to me.
Oh, wait, to the milk thing. Do you remember like when you was in school and they used to have like the athletes have the milk mustache and they tell you to drink milk?
Yeah.
Like the idea of like just pushing that shit down niggas like throats, like this is what you're gonna do. To the point where I don't remember when I was in like elementary or middle school or even high school really, where they gave us an option to just drink water. Like I don't know if bottled water is like when I went to the cafeteria, I feel like it was only white milk, chocolate milk, orange juice, and then that was it. I don't even remember the option water.
Okay, this is an advertisement. I'm going to click it. I've never watched it before. But the reason I'm going to click it is because the milk ads, they never actually told you to, sometimes they would tell you to buy milk, but what they would do is something more long-term. They would convince you in the 15 seconds that milk was a part of everyone's lifestyle. Yeah. The same way Gatorade does, where they're like, athlete just finished workout, Gatorade.
Niggas
feel me?
Sweating Gatorade.
And I get it, it's an advertisement at the end of the day, but I just want to click this one because I feel like they're all the same.
But I don't know if those advertisements even exist anymore.
Real milk has 8 times more protein than almond milk.
Wait. I know you didn't hear that correctly, so I'm going to run it back.
Real milk has 8 times more protein than almond milk. Real milk has naturally occurring calcium. Almond milk doesn't. And it also only has 2% almonds, which looks like this. What's the other 98%? Get real. Get naturally nutritious real milk.
That I couldn't have imagined that. That's a slanderous ad on almond milk. Because some people were like, maybe we don't have to have real milk. Maybe we could just use almond milk. And they were, how? How could you think that? We spent so much money lobbying otherwise. Crazy. I did not know ads like that existed. I don't really be watching TV no more.
Yeah, so I don't watch TV and I don't know like what they have in schools and shit like that. But I just
wait, sorry, look at these comments. You see these? Almond milk sounds good right now. Ditch the dairy. No thanks, I am human, and the rest of that almond milk is water.
But you're drinking cow's milk. Like, what are we talking about?
No, he's saying is because they said like, what's the other 98% of almond milk?
Yeah, I know.
He's like, it's water.
I know, but he's saying like, I'm not human though.
He said, I am human.
I am human, and what's that again? I am human.
Oh, I don't know why he said all that. Now, it's not like I care about like the livelihood of cows and shit like that.
It's not that. It's just like, nigga, I mean, you saying like you doing something weird by drinking almond milk, nigga, you drinking cow milk. Like, there's other type of milks to drink as well.
Plenty of others.
So what I'm saying, like the fact, like, nigga, calm down. Like, I don't know. All I know is, for whatever reason, milk was pushed heavy.
Yeah.
And like it was almost like milk and fucking the grain industry just had everything like locked up. Yeah, like nigga, like we got the cereal for the breakfast and the milk is gonna be there.
Every year they were meeting in the finals.
Nigga, the
just
kids,
blowing teams out.
Facts. The kids going to school, milk is gonna be served at lunch. Like it was just all over the place. And yeah, I wonder if that's I'm pretty sure it is like why niggas are just like accustomed to drinking like not drinking milk, but having like starch in every fucking meal.
Yeah. Because after I went 4 years gluten free, first of all, I realized that like you can make dope recipes that taste delicious that don't have it. It's just you live a more inconvenient life because it's such a big part of everyone else's life that they're gonna stock the shelves. So everything is gonna have some kind of contains some. Because even if it doesn't have any, is being produced in a factory that does. So it's using the same equipment. So then it's like now it has traces. Do you want to eat traces? No. So it's up to you. But anyway, I just started to question all of this bullshit they taught us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I did because I save a lot more time eating once a day. I save a lot more money. And I'm eating things I love and I'm losing weight. You couldn't have convinced me that was possible if you showed me this garbage fucking pyramid, told me to have 5% of donuts and shit. Bullshit. So
that's
shout out.
They literally are telling you like, nah, nigga, you can't eat a donut, nigga.
But I think the reason they do that is not based on science. It's just to reach over to the other aisles, to be like bipartisan. Like, I know you don't want that donut, but just look, it's in the pyramid too. You could have that, just in moderation though. I think that's the message they were trying to send. And that is you could have sweets. Not saying like you have to live a very strict lifestyle, but first I enjoy the discipline I get from eating a strict lifestyle. But two,
oh yeah,
it's true. That. In moderation, anything is valid.
Yeah, but if I'm looking at
except hard drugs,
it literally says in the top healthy food. So if I'm considering healthy foods, no, like a donut is not a part of that conversation.
It's crazy because I'd be binge eating, but I would like binge eat responsibly. Like I would have foods that didn't spam sugar. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this though, chocolate milk is incredible.
I can't drink. I just can't do it no more. I can't do it no more.
It's so good. Every once in a while I'll have it and I'll just, oh man.
Also like for like, especially y'all younger viewers, like the concept of just what calories were and counting calories, that was not a thing when we was growing up.
It was scientifically, but just publicly,
no, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Nobody was doing that.
Like that wasn't even a conversation that niggas was having. It was just like, just make sure you get your food groups in. But like the concept of actually just counting calories or keeping up with just your calorie intake, that was not a thing.
Word. And to the point where I'm so happy, I think the U.S. government did it too, because I know they did it in Canada. No, they did it here too, because I see it on Uber Eats. But now restaurants have to tell you how many calories the meal you're having is, which is great, so you can count them. And even when you go to like Subway and other places, they'll tell you average person eats 2,000 calories per day. Average. You know, if you do more activities, then it's going to be more. If you're have way more muscle, it's going to be way more. So there's plenty of variance, but I'm glad they do that now. I'm very glad. It's crazy. Isn't it crazy? Yeah, I was reading this book called The Chimp Paradox, because you know that girl I was simping for I showed you in the beginning of the last podcast?
Okay.
The British chick?
Okay.
She recommended that book. Now I stopped listening to it actually after the second chapter. I thought it was preposterous. He was almost basically what he was arguing is there's plenty of parts of the brain. What we're gonna focus on in this book is 3 parts: the computer part, the chimp part, and the human part. And he was saying
chip or
chimp like that.
He said there's a chimp part.
Chimp part of your brain. It's basically like the animalistic survival part of your brain.
Okay.
But he just called it the chimp part.
Okay.
What he was arguing was like, let's say me and you get into an argument. Like you say something wild. And my first thought was, man, I want to smack the fuck out of you for saying that.
Okay.
That's your chimp brain talking. He said the chimp brain is more powerful than the human brain. But the part where he lost me, bro, was where he said, that's not you doing that. That's your chimp. And I was like, you want me to dissociate my actions from me? I understand what you're trying to put together with this book, man. But I refuse to believe I beat the fuck out of Lo right now that I didn't make a mistake. It couldn't have been my chimp that made the mistake. That don't make no goddamn sense, man.
So you're telling me when this nigga makes a very, very irrational decision, this nigga's like, nah, just to let y'all niggas know. Mm-hmm. That's my chimp talking right now.
Wasn't even me, man.
Wasn't even me, is my chimp.
But the way he would describe it is worse. He make it seem like someone was on the steering wheel, like someone's in control. So imagine being like, I'm back in control now. My chimp, man, he back there. My bad about what he did.
Like he just snapped for a second and lost control. Like, whoa, my chimp just took over. Nah.
But
that would be a horrible defense in court. Like, Your Honor, I would like to plead my chimp case.
You could never convict nobody no more because it was never their human part doing that shit. It was always the chimp part.
That'd be crazy if he just saw you just like watching like crazy shit happen in America, and he's like, man, niggas chimp sides are going crazy right now, bro. Was that Kanye's chimp side? What he was saying today?
That's what he would argue. Yes, literally. Which is like, I wouldn't argue. I'd say that's more like a mental problem he's having.
Yeah, actually, that's a legit like a conversation we had about Kanye because like he says things like where I guess you can pull up. He says things where I'm like, it just legitimately sounds like he's having a mental breakdown right now.
I agree,
and like no one is like actually like the discourse around him isn't about
when Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
Now, you know what's crazy?
There's another.
There was a longer clip, and he was talking about he almost aborted his baby.
Yeah, that part was I was like,
let me try and find that clip.
Yo, can we play that on?
I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard to make out what he's saying at all. So I guess so.
Well, Harriet Tubman never.
That same clip. He's just trying to slander Harriet Tubman. Wow, how did you crop it wrong, both horizontally and vertically?
So that's a Stephen move. You don't know who's putting the internet in your school just to track you.
Huh? I didn't hear this part.
You don't know who's targeting you. Black woman in between the ages of 12 to 21 that follows this person in order to buy this product.
He's right about that.
You don't know who's the head of the boards. In risk or no risk of losing whatever deal possible, I am not on the board at Adidas. I am not on the board at Gap.
Okay, real quick, I wish he wrote his own music because I feel like he'd be better at communicating his points. I feel like a lot of what he does is just miscommunication because he doesn't know how to properly present how he's feeling. And I think he feels a lot of things. So because he can't communicate it and he's such an influential person, he's just out here talking reckless all the fucking time.
But see, the dangerous part about what he's doing is part of what he's saying is true. And so some people are going to take part of what he's saying and like, yo, but that part, what he said is true, not recognizing that, 80% of what he said is actually so detrimental that one could easily question his mental health.
Okay, look at this tweet from Rory. He said, slavery isn't over, is his point. The current system puts a cap on how much power black people can have, no matter how much we achieve. And this is my first time seeing all this, but this is deep. Now, here's the thing. When anyone says anything, unless I know it to be false, I always go like, I should look into that before jumping to the conclusion that he's false. So I was curious. it never occurred to me, what did the slaves do after they were freed? It never even occurred to me, because it wasn't like black people was owning bare businesses. So I guess they would have to.
You just now had this epiphany today.
Yeah, literally. There's not a question that fucking crossed my mind.
Yeah, I'm.
So
there's a level of privilege that I wish I had, because that's something.
We're not from this country, though, so we just
that's what I'm
a little
saying.
bit different.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, like, maybe he's not incorrect, but I haven't looked at the data, so I wouldn't know. What would they have done? I can't imagine it was anything but just find a job that paid like shit, and there was still plenty of prejudice, et cetera, going on around the world.
But a job is vastly different from slavery.
100%. But what he was saying, and I think what he tried to communicate incorrectly, was he made it seem like Harriet Tubman had no impact, because even when they were free, they were still working for white people. And that's fucked up, because she's probably one of the most popular black activists in the history of the country. And so why are you trying to slander her for whatever? You can make your point without having to do that. But
I agree, but
let me find this word.
Where he and many people, when they're trying to make arguments, is that they lack context. And it's the same thing we were talking about earlier, where like you say you saw either a picture or you was watching something and the black guy who was driving was like smiling and happy, because in his mental space, that is a concept of freedom. In his mental space, that is a concept of having some type of rights, because he's driving, and there's a lot of even white people who aren't driving at that time. So the concept of freedom for Harriet Tubman to Kanye is vastly different to what she was thinking.
That's a really good point.
Because in her mind, she can't even, and she doesn't even, there's no idea of a black person owning anything. There's no concept of a black person having a job. There's no concept of a black person. The only thing she's trying to do is to make sure black people have the ability to either make the decisions or no longer be whipped. Or like, that's the concept of what she's thinking. To try to utilize the understanding of what freedom is today to what she's doing would be like the concept of how we view cars now to what they're probably going to be 50 years from now. So that's what I'm like. That's why it just sounds ridiculous.
That's a really good point.
So you can't utilize your thought process of how you visualize things today in contrast to what they were doing XYZ amount of years ago, because it all took time. Everything is progressing, and you have to build off of what was first thought of back then. So understandable of I'm pretty sure that's what it was. She took them from it wouldn't be surprising to me at all if she took slaves from being slaves and then went to another white person and handed them off to them, because quite frankly, there probably wasn't no black person at the time. Not probably, there ain't no black people back then who had the capacity to hold XYZ amount of black people who can house them, can give them jobs. Like, that doesn't exist. So realistically speaking, I'm pretty sure that's what Harriet Tubman probably did. However, her thought process of what freedom was is vastly different from what we know as today. And so to say that is ridiculous. However, to not have that type of conversation and lack that amount of context is where things become dangerous, because even though technically he's right, there's a large amount of context that is missing in the conversation.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about Kanye is, one, he can't communicate properly.
No, he can't.
But two is that I know he's had experiences unlike anyone else in this world, because he's wildly successful at what he does. And every time someone told him that he couldn't accomplish something like getting into fashion, he just did it very successfully. And so I feel like there's a lot of wisdom in his very fucking twisted head, but he has a lot of trouble bestowing that upon people. And I've heard many times from my favorite artists how the music industry drives them crazy, and they can't do music no more because, man, just working with this label and working with this it's driving them crazy. So we know how long he been in the game. He just dropped a single. He about to drop an album, I think. He just dropped like the list of songs for his album. So hold on, I want to read more of what Rory said, because there's not a lot of people who share his opinion, but I'm kind of curious. He said, the people you don't see made sure that all you saw was the Harriet Tubman line. This is bigger than Kanye wanting to have a seat at the Adidas table. Why don't African Americans own Adidas yet? Why don't African Americans own the NBA? Why don't African Americans own the entire record industry? We had the Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. We had Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. You know they got to a certain glass ceiling where something or someone stopped them from doing exactly what they needed to do to. So I get what he's saying.
I see what he's saying too.
He's saying there's probably a lot of additional obstacles that we don't even know about, but he has trouble communicating, Kanye. Mm-hmm. Now that's information I feel like would be valuable to a whole lot of people. And I will also say that once you reach those levels, I can't even imagine how competitive it is. And it's like no one's just gonna allow you to take power away from them or to make that's their customer. You can't just take that from me. I can't just on my level of doing well. Mm-hmm. I can't just when you go up to Jeff Bezos, cutthroat. They'll do whatever it takes to put you out of business. Yeah. So I understand what Rory is saying, but I know there's a heightened level of competition there. Like I get what he's saying, but I feel like I understand what Kanye should have said.
But in the same sense, and that's all understandable. But then you also have to ask yourself, what are you doing to change that though?
You talking about who right now?
Rory, Kanye, the people who have the money. Because let's just be honest, the music industry is at a point where you don't have to sign a major record label. There have been plenty of examples of where people don't sign major record labels and they've been well off. Mm-hmm. The concept of you trying to achieve a certain level of success that is validated through other forms, regardless of it's white people or just people in the industry, mm-hmm. that's you who's trying to seek that validation, mm-hmm. not somebody else. So at some point, I understand what he's saying, but at some point, then what are you? Especially with music, it's like you really I get it. Like yeah, you can't. You probably there's only so many things you can do at Def Jam or Apple, and plenty of artists, especially recently, have talked about that. And honestly, the conversation is recently about Drake that he only has like 1 or 2 more albums left on his contract, and it was somebody.
Who's he signed to? Cash Money Records, right?
Yeah, but I think they're signed to
Cash Money?
I think like Universal or something like that. But then somebody was saying like straight up like as soon as Drake gets off his
Universal,
yeah.
Oh man!
As soon as Drake gets off of his contract, that could legitimately be such a power move in the industry that it could change everything for the rest, like moving forward.
Okay, so that's the interesting part. Now there are examples of people like Kevin Hart who has his own video production mm-hmm. company. Mm-hmm. He has the LOL media entity that's mm-hmm. killing the game right now. He has mm-hmm. his own Sirius XM show. Like Kevin Hart is a perfect example of a black man who not only dominated entertainment, but is demonstrating his ability to not only entertain, but to be a businessman. And he owns a whole bunch of entities now that I think have the potential to be massive in the future. And some mm-hmm. of them are already massive. But when you look at something like music, when you think of like, all right, Drake has his OVO label, but Drake is with Cash Money. Cash Money is owned by Universal. Universal owns that. Okay. And you could keep tracing it back to like the same fucking companies, Warner, Sony, and Universal.
But once he's off of that,
I don't know what the contractual details is. Like what happens with OVO now that he individually is off of Universal?
He owns it.
I understand that, but can he just take it away? That might literally not be possible.
I mean, it might not be, but I don't know. I don't know how
it's
like
works. When Nick Cannon got kicked out from Wildin' Out. Yeah. He can't do nothing with Wildin' Out because
they own it. Yeah,
they own the IP for that.
Yeah.
So music is such an interesting.
So then you just take your own identity of what you've done with all the people you've garnished over the past few years, and then you do your own thing.
But it's not that easy. I'm telling you, because
I'm not saying
there has to be something like non-competes or something. Because if you leave and then compete with the people that you just left from, I feel like they would have clauses to protect them from that. And then think about like an agency, for example. If I was working for like CAA, but then I left and created my own agency, and all the people that I was representing at CAA, I tried to poach them from CAA. I can't imagine it doesn't come without lawsuits. I can't imagine.
I'm not saying anything is easy, but what I'm saying is we can't. I mean, I understand what they're saying, but having the conversation, and you may be at the ceiling, and you're starting to recognize that there is a ceiling, and you can very clearly see the people who are holding you back from achieving the things that you truly can achieve. So that's all understandable. Mm-hmm. in the same sense, if Drake really wants to be independent or he wants to have his own power moves, going and trying to do something with Apple is going to fail, which is something he tried to do. Jay-Z tried it. Many people, not even just Jay-Z, but Jay-Z in particular, tried to explain to him, that's not going to work because I've tried that already. They're going to just play you the same way they've been playing everybody. And so he did that, and they end up playing him because there's only so much leeway that they're going to give you, regardless of how big of an artist you are. So instead of using those venues or taking those routes or utilizing someone else's assets and abilities to spread your music, if you're at a point and Drake is just such an anomaly that it may actually work out in this situation where he's been in the game for so long, stayed relevant enough to where he can basically go out his entire contract, which is almost unheard of, and still be relevant at the end of the contract and then drop music, and it still puts out ridiculous shit like after that on his own.
I knew there was something up when he dropped the demo tapes on. He trying to get out of a deal.
Yeah, niggas is dropping demo tapes right now. Not even. I think it's just like this is it.
He didn't drop it as a mixtape or an EP.
Yeah,
he dropped it as an album.
Care package shit that I've been dropping like for years now for free. That's an album now. How many rounds we got? 1 or 2? All right. Let's say less.
Sound like the Migos type beat when they dropped 2 albums in the same month.
And it's all easier said and done, especially with music, because I know, and for a lot of up and coming musicians, record labels, they use predatory tactics to try to convince them to sign with them.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely, I understand in those regards. However, I do believe, just kind of taking this back to Kanye, I'm not saying him. Maybe he wasn't criticizing Harriet Tubman. Maybe he was just clarifying, like, yeah, she attempted to do that, but this was the reality of what she did, and maybe he's coming to the recognition of, fuck, that's what I've been doing my entire career. I'm thinking that I'm giving niggas power and leverage and giving them freedom,
but they're still.
But we just signed into one nigga that signed to another nigga. We just signed from one nigga that went to a whole nother fucking white man.
And even then, when you think of Jay-Z, I don't know how much stake he owned in Tidal or whatever, but that was huge, cool. Yeah. And I don't know how relevant it is right now, but then Sprint bought 30-something% of that.
Yeah.
So it's like even if it is black owned, at some point you're gonna need a cash infusion. Who's that gonna come from?
Yeah.
It's likely not gonna come from another black billionaire. It's gonna come from another company that's owned by any other race of person. And now they have a bunch of people on the board, and they have a lot of power making decisions for that company, et cetera. But that's just business in general. I do see what he's saying, and
Kanye still can't be the one who's because he can't communicate. But
I feel like maybe if he just, maybe there is a mental problem there. I'm not sure because I'm not a goddamn doctor. But
there is. I mean, it's been noted he's on medication.
Okay, I mean, well, there is.
Yeah.
But we need him to though. He would have a much more positive impact on the world if he was just able to communicate his thoughts. And I remember there was a lecture where he went to a class. It might have been in university or something. And he just talked for an hour. I remember seeing that somewhere on YouTube. And I was just like, man, he has so much. He just knows a lot because he's been through so much. So it's like, I just need him to do that for us right now.
But also, I think there's a lot of other people who are doing that as well.
Plenty.
They just don't speak on it as openly as Kanye. Because what ends up happening is the same way they did to Dave Chappelle, they'll play he crazy.
They did try
even though he might be saying something real. No, you're not crazy black man. Dave Chappelle just turned down all that money. He crazy. Even though Dave Chappelle's like, no, I know what I'm doing because I know what y'all niggas trying to do. So I'm not going to take the money and completely adjust my morals just because you all throwing money in my face.
Comedy Central said so.
Exactly.
And I respect that move so much. And imagine how talented of an individual you have to be to then come back and then dominate again. And that's why I love platforms like Netflix, et cetera. Netflix is huge on stand-up. And I feel like they make an effort to be, when it's like, you like comedy? Yeah, Netflix. Try Hulu. See how much specials they have. Nope. So I feel like Netflix funds a whole bunch and they have a whole bunch of shows where they just do up-and-coming comics, and there's a whole season of that, 8 episodes deep. The amount of comedy Netflix has is crazy. So I'm saying there are plenty of white-owned companies that have also been very beneficial for black people, incredibly. And I feel like Imagine Netflix not existing. What would Dave Chappelle have to do? Like he would have to. It would be on Comedy Central.
Or no, you don't have to be. You can be HBO.
I guess, but he has 2 options. Or maybe max he has 5 options, but 2 really good options.
He has more than, he don't have to go back to Comedy Central.
And I think Will Smith, I don't remember if everyone remembers this, but Will Smith changed the game when he dropped, you remember the movie he was in, Bright?
Yeah.
That was the first movie I remember seeing from a person as big as Will Smith in the game to drop exclusively off rip on Netflix. And I was like, man, that sounds like a crazy decision. You're not gonna make all the money from you can put in the theaters for a month and then wait and then sell DVDs and then put it on Netflix because that's what everybody was used to. And we have Will Smith taking a risk on something. And for all the risks he takes in his career, he must be incredible at what he does because he does not miss very often. You know what I'm saying? You look at an actor like Adam Sandler, good actor, but he misses a lot. There's a lot of misses in his career. So when I saw Will Smith do that, I was like, huge. And then now in the last couple of years, there's a lot more people trying that. Yeah. Especially now that people can't even go to movie theaters. I'm sure Netflix is being hit up. Netflix, do you want to help fund this? Netflix is like, yeah, make it a Netflix original. And they put Netflix original right there and they promote the shit out of it on their homepage. Because it comes with stuff. When you have a Netflix original stand-up comedy, you will be on the homepage for days. And that will likely mean that you're number 10 in the top 10. And now they have a whole category for the top 10. And so it's like you could really run your numbers up, especially if you're really good at what you do. So, in the midst of all like the glass ceiling talk, etc., there's glass ceilings, you know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't know the first thing about them though. You know what I'm saying? So I do like hearing people like when Dave Chappelle dropped that quick special a month ago. I just enjoyed hearing him talk.
Which one was it though?
The one where he was talking about George Floyd.
Okay, that was great. But there's another one where he talks about why he left, and he gave another.
I remember that one too. I watched all this. Yeah.
The one where he was talking about the pimp.
For what it's worth?
I don't know which one it was, but he was talking about a pimp. He was talking about how the girl was on her last trick.
I know which bit you're talking about, but I don't remember which stand-up that was in.
But yeah, that one, I was like, damn, that's fucking tough.
Yeah.
That's fucking tough.
And it's like, that's the beautiful thing about Chappelle. He's incredible at what he does, and he actually doesn't care about the consequence of saying what's on his mind. And that's refreshing for a lot of people who are used to just hearing the censored version of everyone else. So you're hearing one of the most experienced, entertaining people to ever touch the planet speak his mind. Oh my God, how could you ask for anything more than that?
I'll say this though. I'm always torn on the concept of being vocal about that type of shit.
Like what type of shit?
Like what Kanye is just doing. And maybe not, Chappelle is well-informed, educated, and can properly piece together.
For sure.
Yeah. So where I may not mind it as much. But I think a lot of things that happen, they're done without anyone saying anything. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like for years, like we just talking about like the fucking pyramid shit. Mm-hmm. Like eventually we figured out like why the pyramid looked like that. But in the beginning, it wasn't even understood. They just did that shit behind the scene and just let it go.
Sure.
So, and I don't want to like make this a whole like basketball thing, but like this idea of like, oh, look at LeBron, he's so XYZ, he's out in front, yada yada yada, and then people just pivot that to, well, where's Michael? I think that in many ways, doing shit behind the scenes, because I don't know what Michael was doing, but I'm just assuming that he will probably do some shit behind the scenes, especially because there's been a lot of things that have been leaked that he does do behind the scenes. I think it's in many people's mind, doing shit behind the scenes is possibly the only way to truly get shit done. Because if you say what you're going to say, then everybody's already adjusting to whatever you believe, and now they find another way to pacify your outrage. So the same way when you playing football, you don't go out and tell the fucking defense, hey, we want to get a run play right up the gut. Let us through. Like, you don't say that. You in the huddle, you make the decision, and you go to the line of scrimmage, and then you execute it based on that. Mm-hmm. And so when people are on social media and they're saying, hey, yo, everybody, on Friday, post up a black image. Then it's like all these other companies are now posting up black images, and y'all niggas are thinking like, oh yeah, they good because they posted up a black. The only reason why they posting a black image is because now it's okay. Like it's this a thing to do. Like they thinking, oh man, if we post a black image, everybody gonna be on our side. Mm-hmm. But the shit that we talking about been going on for years. Niggas ain't saying shit back then. Like the NFL all of a sudden like, oh man, Black Lives Matter. Like nigga, Kaepernick was in the league. Like, what the fuck y'all niggas talking about? Like, what are we discussing right now? And so now all of a sudden, like, we supposed to just buy into the fact that y'all niggas actually, you know what I'm saying? So I think when people be saying shit out loud, I think that it just allows them to understand what's going on. And that's a bigger reason why I'm not really with the whole, like, I'm going, especially if you can't articulate yourself. Like, I'm not trying to hear you try to explain some shit that really and truly we should be having behind a conversation behind the scenes, and you're not even articulate yourself well enough when you're in front of a whole bunch of people, so then they can just label you as the crazy black man. Mm-hmm. So then that really defeats the fucking purpose, because even if Kanye was saying some real shit, which maybe he was, you still end up hurting the process, because the people who really know, who are holding you down with the glass ceiling, they know what you really trying to say. They may know what you really trying to say, but then like, oh, let me just spin this to make this nigga look crazy. The same way they were like, we know why Dave Chappelle really wasn't fucking with us, because we was about to get over on that nigga. We gonna give him 84 million, but we was probably gonna make 300 million on the back end. So we was gonna get over on that nigga, but we gonna make him look crazy because he didn't want to take 84 million.
Was it 84? I thought it was like 50 something.
Or whatever the number is. So you crazy. He crazy. He on crack. He on drugs. He ran to Africa. He crazy. So now it's like, yo, that's why you don't do shit. You just do it. Just do it, execute it, and then once shit happens, you start to see people with their true colors. Keep that shit simple. It's black and white, and people will start to show you their true colors. And that's a fact.
Yeah, it was 50. Crazy amount of money to turn down, by the way. I'll tell you, you have to be really fed up with something to say no to $50 million.
Or just know the shenanigans. You know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And the nigga he came back and made the money.
Mm-hmm. You know what's interesting, though? The same way Kevin Hart is building his empire, Dave Chappelle is not interested in, and I can't say that he's not interested, but it doesn't seem that he's not working. Like, he doesn't have a video production company. He's not hopping on radio the way Kevin Hart is. He doesn't have, Kevin Hart's promoting the fuck out of the Fabletics men. When you think of Dwayne The Rock Johnson promoting the shit out of his liquor, you see it all the way. And if Dwayne The Rock Johnson right now is the biggest person on Instagram, this is craziest promo you can get. It's him just co-signing your liquor 2 times a week. So you can see plenty of ambitious people looking to just create ownership because they understand. And that's really, with AMP too. That's part of the reason AMP was formed.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can make AdSense, make your brand deal money, etc. But if you own an entity the way like the FaZe guys started trick shotting, but now they own FaZe Clan, is worth how much money? That's really how you make money. But maybe it's just I haven't been paying attention, but I haven't seen reports of Dave Chappelle trying to own anything. He's just in love with his craft of making comedy, does that to the best of his ability, and it seems as though he's not like ambitious to take over anything. He really just wants to do what he loves, which I guess for him is cracking jokes.
Yeah, I think it's also.
I had something on the screen. You got cut out.
I think it's also. I think it's ideal to identify your strengths and weaknesses. So if you're not that great at potentially leading a charge or have the resources and the proper information to make certain decisions, I don't think you should jump out there and do it. And maybe that's why Chappelle doesn't do it. That's part of the reason why, even J. Cole talked about that, where you're saying like, I'm still trying to inform myself. So I don't want to jump out the window and say something that isn't correct. So let me make sure I make the proper decisions, make sure I read up what I need to read before I jump out the window and start saying a whole bunch of stuff about what we need to do as a people, because I'm just not properly informed. And I think through the process, especially when you're talking about a bunch of people who are reaching a level of success that honestly has never been reached before, especially when the generational wealth that black people are now receiving. Yeah, like you can't, I just don't think I don't think it's. I mean, I don't know. If a nigga don't want, if you want to say something, you do. If you don't, then that's fine. But I don't think that people should be held to the requirement of we need you to do this, or we need you to own this, or we need you to do like.
Yeah, because it's like, I get the appeal of like, you probably think Jeff Bezos' life is like, oh my God, he's living lavish. Jeff Bezos doesn't have an extra second in the day to just get on a phone call with anybody because his whole day is so packed. Like, I can't imagine you have time for not kids, not marriage, nothing, because he is so important to the biggest company on the planet, or one of the biggest companies on the planet. It doesn't even seem like a desirable life. You will have zero free time. You can't not go to that party unless it's to network because there's somebody there that you need to get good with. Everything he does is work. That doesn't even seem like a desirable life. I'm not gonna lie to you. And Kevin Hart, when he dropped that, I don't know if it was like a documentary or whatever on Netflix last year, he was talking about that. He's like, at some point, I'm gonna retire. And he said he just wants to be good for that. And I know he said he was making an effort to spend more time with his kids. So you could tell he even slowed down the pace because there was a point in his life where he was going full throttle.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, not only, I don't know how long you can maintain that for, but even if you can maintain it for the rest of your life, do you want to? I remember Jordan Peterson was talking about this in one of his lectures. He was saying like, he doesn't even understand why people want those jobs. Like when women say like, why are only this many percent of CEOs women? And he was explaining the reason why, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The data shows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he stopped and he was like, but why would they even want those jobs? You have no life with those jobs at all. With this YouTube shit, yeah, I'm busy all the time. I mean, this week's probably gonna be the busiest week of my life right here, and I'm in the middle of it. But then like I could make a decision to like drive to the gas station and just breathe air. Jeff Bezos cannot do that shit. So it's like, man, just relax. You know what I'm saying? You got free time, enjoy the free time. I enjoy being productive and staying busy. That's just me. But I had to ask myself the question a couple years ago, like, am I willing to sacrifice a lot of my free time in social life in the pursuit of just doing something magnificent in my career? And every person I asked was like, bro, you have this opportunity, take it. You have this opportunity, take it. And I took it, and I noticed that like every few months I'm getting busier and I'm starting something new and there's a different project, etc. And it's like, at a certain point I can hit my limit. And I think Chappelle probably hit his limit. And then I don't even know what it's like when you have kids. I'm sure you want to see them every once in a while.
Yeah, true.
But you might be on tour, international tour. You might be across the world from the people that matter to you most.
Also, I think when it comes to wealth, I think there is a changing of the guard that's about to happen. Like even with like, for example, NBA teams, there's like rumors that a lot of owners are looking to sell like relatively soon, like in the next 10 to 15 years, largely because a lot of them are just older people, but also because they don't believe that the game is going to get any higher, especially if like the ratings stay the same or they start plummeting like they've been doing the past 2 years. And then obviously what's going on right now definitely ain't helping the value of NBA teams. And then once everything is done, if we get back to normal living, what are the value NBA teams going to look like? How much hit? How much money did they end up losing? Because quite frankly, a lot of people who own NBA teams, they don't actually make money from the NBA teams on a year-to-year basis. A lot of them actually end up losing money. So now it's like, all right, I say all that to say this. There's some beliefs that there's like inside trader talks of like, hey, I'm about to sell, I'm about to sell the Spurs. How much you willing to give me for it? Instead of just doing it publicly. But now they're just trading it amongst one another.
A deal that big, they're not going to tweet out or put up an Indeed job posting.
Yeah, no,
it's all going to happen privately. I know because Gary Vaynerchuk is trying to own the New York Jets, and interestingly enough, sometimes in his vlogs he'll be like, "This is the guy who owns the Dolphins," and he like introduce him, etc. Like, we're good friends, and he'll publicly say like, "In my pursuit of trying to own the team that I grew up loving, I'm just getting to know." And he said there was times where he sold ownership of something at a huge discount to someone that owned an NFL team because he wanted to just get in there with them. Yeah. And so it's like, that's usually how those deals work. I can't imagine any of that would be done even remotely publicly.
So then I think that going back to what we were saying, what potentially Rory was talking about, then yeah, it's not going to change. The ceiling is always going to be the same if they are fluctuating the wealth within one another.
I guess, yeah. But I mean, owning you have to be a specific type of person, you know what I'm saying, to own a team, especially in the NBA, or really any major league in North America.
Well, I mean,
you would never really own all of it. You would just own part of it.
No, I mean, when there's going to be more Michael Jordans, more LeBrons.
Michael Jordan is a billionaire.
And LeBron will be a billionaire.
I don't even think if Michael Jordan sold everything he had in his net worth, and he just had a whole bunch of liquid cash, that he could afford to buy half of the Knicks. I don't think he can.
Well, I'm not talking about the Knicks, because he
even like a
he owns the what
does he own 100% of it? I'd be very surprised to find out he owned 100%.
I wouldn't be that surprised. I would be surprised if that fucking team cost that much.
It is a bum ass team. Oh my God, Jordan controls 97% of the Hornets' equity.
So there you go.
So when did he buy it though?
Years ago.
Like over 10 years ago?
Probably so, yeah.
Because that's real. Yeah, you're right. That's the real money these owners are making. It's just the value of their company going up. But that's actually not money made until you sell it. Most teams.
But that's what Ballmer did.
What do you mean?
He sold part of his portion of Microsoft and then bought Clippers.
Some baller moves right there.
Is a baller move.
I actually fuck with him a lot. I like how involved he and Mark Cuban are with their teams.
Can you imagine?
You could tell they love it.
Imagine just making that transaction like it's just normal. Like, I just want to sell.
I'll give you Microsoft. Yeah. I'll take the Clippers.
I want to sell my shares of Microsoft right now.
And Microsoft is the most profitable company on the planet. So, yeah, there's that.
Crazy.
Everybody would want some ownership in Microsoft. Oh, man. Ownership in the most profitable company on the planet? Oh, man. Hey, shout out Bill Gates, man.
But again, a lot of what all I'm saying is, well, going back to Kanye, he just doesn't have the ability to articulate himself. Like that's his problem. And it will always be his problem, which is why people like him shouldn't be talking. And also,
that's how I know he had writers.
Don't vote for him for president.
It's crazy. I saw people saying like, if Kanye runs, then it's gonna take away from the black vote. And it's gonna make it like Trump. Like, oh my, we don't have brains. God damn it. We don't have. You just think that Kanye's, and then boom, all the black people vote for Kanye is gonna take away from Joe Biden. It's not how life works, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if less black people just didn't, like, less people voted in general.
So in this country, you have to register with the party just to be able to vote.
In the primaries.
So in a regular election, you don't have to.
No.
I guess that would make sense, because if you're not a Democrat, they would want you don't.
Exactly.
Okay, but at the same time, in Canada, it's very normal for you to vote for NDP, which is the very liberal side, the Liberals, which is kind of in the middle, and then the Conservatives. Like like a guy who voted Conservative one year, it wouldn't be like a huh? It would be like oh okay, you just want to go NDP this year, or Liberal this year, or Green Party, or any other party. But in this country, I feel like there's more of like a this is my team vibe.
Yeah.
I voted Liberal my whole life, but if for whatever reason the Liberal person, I was like, oh man, that's a goofball right there, I would vote for the Conservative or the NDP, and I wouldn't think twice about it. And then nobody would shame me for doing that neither, because you're just voting. You did your goddamn due diligence. This is who you decided. This is who you vote for. And this country is like, wait, you're a conservative? Like, oh, you're Republican? You're a Republican? And they immediately get to assuming things about you. I feel like that, like if your identity is so closely associated with which party you vote for, I can't imagine that's healthy, because then you're not going to want to change. Everything is kind of just in a stalemate.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not going to change. But the truth of the matter is, well, two things when it, I don't know how deep you want to get into this.
Fuck it.
I'll be brief. The truth is, like, especially I hate when black people tell the black people, like, yo, you don't have to vote for Democrat, right? Like, like the Democrats are just using you as a pawn to get your vote. And it's like, but Republicans do that as well with white people. And the reality is, people actually don't know the people they're voting for. They just know they have core beliefs, and they just believe that the economy and shit is going to work itself out, because reality is, I don't think anybody really wants the worst for the economy. So they just believe conservatives, pro-life, gun rights, like they just is a checklist of like things that I'm more than likely you're going to agree with on conservatives. And the same thing with with liberals or Democrats. There's a checklist of things that, like, oh yeah, this and that, like social issues, homosexuals getting the right to marriage, XYZ. So like these are the checklists that I'm more so concerned with, and that's why people just assume. So you assume if I'm doing Democrat, you're like, whoa, you don't mind killing babies? Like they just like that's just the assumption because that's how they correlate voting. Like voting is just pro-life or pro-choice. That's it. Gun rights or you want a regulation. Like that's just how they vote. Like that's how they think of voting. Everything else is just going to work itself out. That's how they think.
That's so taught because, and I genuinely dislike this because I believe I'm an individual first. You know what I'm saying? And I have plenty of core beliefs, etc. But I'm an individual, and you know I'm capable of believing multiple different things, etc. Why would you tie yourself down like that? Like you're allowed to just have different, like, man, that make no sense to me. I can't see progress in a world where there's two parties and then the thought of independent, people lose their minds. You're gonna take away the vote from this person. It's like a game to them. It's like a game. It's literally a game.
That's what it is.
And I know like, you know, when you're a politician, you're running a campaign, it is a game. But as a voter, it's still a game to, like, there's no game in this shit for me. If I feel like the Liberal Party would do better in Canada than the Conservative or the NDP, the Green Party, Bloc Québécois or whatever, then I just vote for the one that had the representative that said some shit that I believed. And that's it. And it could come from any party.
What's even sadder is that, like, then there's, like, these niggas who think that, like, they're three-dimensional thinkers. Like, they be thinking, like, man, I'm so ahead of the curve because I know for a fact that, you know, this really isn't going to work out for nobody. We're just choosing the best of two evils type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then even with that mental even with that understanding of like just it's not really that deep, but it's a smidgen deeper into like what politics are. They're still like, but I still have to vote this way or that way, knowing that their vote is knowing that they're voting for someone that they truly don't believe in. But the reason why they're just voting in is because they just believe that it's the best of both evils, acting like there's not another option, which is to me, even though they think that they're three-dimensional thinkers, it's almost like, you know, there's like you can see the other side, but you're like, I'm better off right here. Like you're acknowledging the game, but you're still playing it. It's like when you fucking acknowledge, like, you know, you're gonna get your shit smashed in my team if you don't have any opals, but niggas still play the goddamn game. It's like, niggas, stop complaining. Like if you know it's not. Same thing with 2K. It's literally the same thing with 2K. Niggas complain about fucking packs every goddamn year, and every year y'all niggas still fucking play the game. Y'all niggas still spend money on the packs. Y'all niggas still go out there and just be like, one position. Niggas didn't put the position cap on it just for them to put out these fucking glitch cards, or niggas like, y'all niggas still playing it. Niggas complain and they thinking they three-dimensional.
Man, three-dimensional.
They're like, man, fucking a dribbling Shaq? Nigga, you're crazy. But pick up the sticks, nigga. Fuck. Like, nigga, like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all niggas, bro?
Yeah, I always find it fascinating, like the limiting beliefs people have. And I actually genuinely try not to keep those kind of people around me. I did it to you like last week, I'm not gonna lie. Or you were telling me about the woman you were in love with, and I was like, but statistically it's doomed to fail. Jesus Christ. And but I don't like hearing things like that. Generally speaking, so it's like, let's say for example, universal healthcare. Mm-hmm. The fact that it's not in this country is crazy. It's also the reason why the taxes are so low. When like, when I put up to, so when I hit 1 million subscribers, I was telling this to someone today, I forgot who. When I hit 1 million subscribers, Willie went surprise me, but I'm at my house all the time. I wasn't doing shit, but in my house. So he literally pretended like he got in an accident and told me to go to the hospital because he needs me. Oh, actually, he didn't. He told my brother to call me and tell him that. So I went to the hospital and I was just walking around. Keep in mind, I had never really been in hospitals except for like if there's a birth and it's someone close to the family or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I put up to this hospital though in Ajax. Man, it felt like a resort. Windows everywhere. Like most of the rooms was empty. You know what I'm saying? It just felt like, wow, what a place to be. I might want to get hurt. And I just end up right here, man. And then I'm in like 6 months ago, I went to a hospital in Atlanta. There's people in stretchers out in the aisles. just a miserably depressing experience, very convoluted and confusing just to get to your destination. I was like, hey, how do I get to this wing? Everyone was pissed to talk to me. The nurses, the people, the receptionists, everyone was just miserable to be there. And when I got into the room, they charged out the ass. In Canada, it was free. And I was thinking to myself, like, if I didn't make a lot of money, I would love that. But it comes out of the pockets of the rich people in Canada. Mm-hmm. So that's why plenty of people make money and then come to America. Is because it doesn't matter if you move to LA, you will save a lot more on taxes just by living here. But so I save at least 20-25% on my yearly just by not living in Canada, because all the benefits that everyone gets, and it's better for everybody that's the case, comes out of the rich, which is the way it should be. So a person like me who stands to benefit more, I'm young, I'm not gonna need healthcare immediately. I don't even have health insurance right now. I would literally drive back to Canada, renew my health card, and get care there before I enter one of these goddamn miserable experiences of a hospital. So the fact that people in this country can't see for themselves how beneficial it would be is to the rest of the world in Europe and all the other developed countries that have it is crazy. But it's like, well, that's the way it's always been. But it doesn't have to be.
But again, it goes back to what we were saying before, where
wait, the low income people, you're voting against yourself.
Exactly.
You would benefit. You would win. Who you think the money comes from? They're going to have to tax the people who really make money.
You putting too many regulations down, bro. No, I'm not fucking with those regulations.
It's so, I have to convince you.
I should have the right.
Pulling up to a doctor's office and he checks your hand and there's nothing wrong with it and you had to pay $700. I have to convince you that a reality where it's free is not better for you.
Nah, bro. I need my rights. I should have the right to not do that.
And keep in mind, some very specialized procedures cost money in Canada. Feel me? Not everything is free. But like, for example, optometrists in Ontario where I lived, if you were under 19, free. Mom would take me to optometrist every year, free. Feel me? Dentists. Actually, dentists are mad expensive, but most people, like at least when I went, for whatever reason, like it was 90% off the price. We only ended up paying like a couple $100 to fill in my tooth.
Oh yeah,
to fill in my tooth.
Hey, we have to pay for cleanings.
Oh yeah, I realized. I went to a dentist when I got here, and it wasn't as expensive as I thought. The cleaning itself was like $150 or something like that.
But the fact that you had to pay for cleaning, and it just is nothing that they're doing. They're just putting fucking fluoride on your goddamn teeth.
So let's talk about some more benefits. Not to say increase the taxes. I'm just letting you know what you're missing out on.
But niggas they're not going to do it because, again, like you said before, with the whole pyramid shit, this is what they grew up believing. And not only that, like it's just like niggas is still playing the game. Like everybody knows the fucking healthcare system is fucked up in America. Like there's just no way. Like everybody knows that, but niggas just believe that this is what it is. So this is what it's.
So it has to be this way.
Yeah,
it's like the fact that you could have a pre-existing condition and it's not covered in insurance is so crazy to me.
Or they ain't what's crazy
because it's too expensive to take care of those guys. They're on their own. That mindset is wild.
And what's even crazy is that they fucking brag about that shit. Like people in Atlanta brag about, oh, Grady's #1 in. I'm like, nigga, the fuck are you talking about? Nigga,
yo, bro, what? He said $5,000 for a CAT scan. Wow. And they'd be like, do you need a payment plan for that? Oh my God, a payment plan for at the hospital? What?
And it'll stay on your credit.
That forever, just to let you know, just in case you think that's normal, that blows my mind as a Canadian. The fact that I can go to a hospital and leave on a payment plan, that is crazy.
Or if they pick you up in an ambulance, it costs money.
That's $50 in Canada. And I remember the story I told about me losing my mind? I forced my mom. I was like, Mom, I have to go to the hospital. Call an ambulance. Ambulance came, pick me up. And my mom was pissed at me that there was nothing wrong. The doctor said she wasn't pissed, but I could see her frustration because the ambulance costed $50. You know how crazy it was when I found out it's a couple thousand here?
I'm about to say, yeah, nah, you definitely forking out some cash.
No. I'm calling an Uber. I'll bleed out in the back seat if I need to, but I'm not calling no $2,000 ambulance. That's crazy talk, man. That is the most expensive Uber ride of all time. Insane. So all that to say, like, you don't have to believe everything I believe or whatever. Just at least be open to the idea that just because it's always been that way doesn't mean it needs to or that's the best for everybody. The fact that there's even debate that universal healthcare would be the best for everybody. To me, is like, wow. But again, I stand to benefit from that because I would end up being taxed the most. So it's actually not even in my interest for that to change. And it's not in the interest of any other rich person in this country. Not to say like I'm rich, but like I'm in the tax brackets now.
Yeah, but you're a millionaire. Yeah, I know.
I'm not a millionaire yet, but I'd be in the tax brackets where it would matter to me if they increased it by 5%. You mean you know when I talk to other people who own businesses, you know what they say? I don't like Trump, but man, do I save money on taxes?
That's tough. That's tough. And they get poor people to still vote for that man. It's just the craziest shit in the world, bro. It's just
the fact that you couldn't see is standing in front of you. He does not have your interests. He wants to take care of his interests, man.
Or when black people were voting for Hillary Clinton, I was like, y'all niggas are retarded, bro. I swear to God. Y'all cannot be running around talking about Black Lives Matter and then voted for Hillary Clinton.
And who was a person decades ago in those marches, an activist?
Bernie Sanders.
And you didn't vote for the guy that, I don't agree with everything he had to say, but wow, he was right there in front of you. Man, if we ever had a Bernie in Canada, what a landslide he would win by.
And the reason why they didn't vote for him is because, like you said, universal healthcare, that don't really sound realistic.
They call them radical socialists. Oh, that's crazy to me. That's so crazy.
I hate it when people be sitting there like, but how are we gonna pay for it? Like, y'all niggas know like America has money. Like niggas say that shit like we like penny pinching over here. Like nigga, the amount of money that gets burned through in America is ridiculous.
Man, talk to one accountant in your life. Talk to one accountant. They could tell you the infinite amount of loopholes these companies use to not pay for taxes, and it is insane. How are you gonna pay for it? Plug a couple fucking loopholes, man. Just plug a couple of them. Man, Apple and goddamn Amazon right now have hundreds of billions of dollars sitting in other countries doing nothing really. Maybe they just haven't invested in stuff. But they know the second they bring it in Canada, into Canada or United States, IRS is going to be like, so how much was that just came in that we're going to have to tax? But they're not going to do it though because loopholes. So make the money and have it sit somewhere else. How you going to pay for it? Tax them. And Andrew Yang sat there and made that his main platform. People called him crazy because he wanted to give people $1,000 a day. Then when Trump did it, it was fucking normal. Are y'all out of your minds?
And niggas are doing it right now.
Oh my God.
Not only people doing it right now, they're doing it in a pandemic where the economy might not even be able to like handle that shit. And they're still giving niggas thousands of dollars.
They sat there and like, how are we gonna pay for the schools? The schools, there's nothing we could do. There's nothing in the budget. And they just came up with a few trillion for the stimulus package out of their ass. They have it.
And they came up with that money in the middle of a pandemic. That's crazy to me. Andrew Yang was like, bro, the economy is going to be booming so much that we can be just giving money. Y'all thought that was crazy. But in the middle of niggas not working and possibly going through the worst economic stretch we've seen in a decade, y'all niggas like, oh no, but where do I go to file that paperwork? Because I need that money, boy.
So, man, I always think it's so interesting. And then, I always tell people, like, just vote because...
Also, I think niggas are not going to have jobs anymore once this is all done.
In terms of what?
I think there's going to be, like, certain jobs
that don't come back?
They don't come back.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, like, legitimately, like, companies will realize, like, oh, damn, we don't
need to rent office space. You could just work from home and we get the same shit done.
So stay home.
You're staying at home.
Stay home.
There's a lot of companies going to start doing that. And
I think a lot of teachers and for a fact, I know cashiers are going to lose their job regardless.
Man,
cashiers were already on pace to lose their job.
Man, cashiers is looking every day at the thing that's going to take their jobs. And you don't know how to use the thing that's going to take my job? Here, let me explain to you how self-checkout works so you never need me again. And your job's not going to exist, man. Tesla's coming out here trying to teach us that the autopilot is going to be functional in a couple years. Truck driving is the most popular job in this country.
Yeah.
Is going to be out of jobs. And then Tesla sat there in the goddamn press conference and showed you the truck that was going to take you out of your job. You're not learning like another skill? Like you don't see how this... Yo, bro, if tomorrow they came out with a robot that could pump out content better than me at a way faster pace, I'm thinking of different ways I can make money because it's not going to last too long. That's how this works. Some of these people staring death in the face. But I get like truck driving and cashiers, not like a job people want forever though. So they might not give a fuck.
True, but That shit was just fucking crazy to me when they the automotive it was like in the Midwest, like automotive jobs were like falling out, and they were like trying to figure out like how are we gonna do it. Mom was like, I'll just refund it, and it's like, no, nigga, like that's not gonna work. Like that job is no longer existing. Like niggas got to find something else to do.
Trump went to people that used to work in the coal industry and was like, we're gonna get you your jobs back. No, we're not, Trump, because that industry is fading, man. Like, why are we trying to go back in time? And then Andrew Yang sat there, and one of the main things on his platform was like, hey guys, what's the word when things be done automatically?
Automotive?
No, like the machines that build cars now, so people don't have to. There's a word for that. He kept saying, I'm blanking, but basically it's the process of machines taking your jobs. He sat there and was like, this is a big problem. And I was like, man, it's kind of refreshing someone's talking about it, because it is going to be a problem. And for some reason, nobody cares about it in 2020. And everyone
I don't
was
know why,
like,
because it becomes even more clear as we continue. Like it's every month, I'm like, damn, that's another nigga job right there. This is gone.
Yep.
Like there's a lawnmower. There's lawnmowers now that can just cut the grass themselves. I was like, damn, niggas.
Landscaping.
I would say day laborers and landscapers. I thought they were gonna be safe for a while, but them niggas is about to be out of here quick. You tell me I can get a fucking machine and even I don't have to go out there and cut the goddamn grass, nigga? You crazy? I'll never in my life pay another nigga. I'll pay top dollar for some shit like that, knowing that for the rest of my life, or at least for the next 3 to 5 years, I will never have to pay for anyone to cut the grass, and even I don't have to go outside.
Yep.
Y'all niggas is through, bro.
Yeah. So, man, this like, I'll say this though. Yeah, I remember in one of the podcasts I said, like, this is such a peaceful time, and someone was like, tell Agent about what's going on in Palestine. There's no world wars going on. There's no threat of nuclear warfare except that guy in North Korea who's bugging. But even that's died down, God damn it. Relatively speaking, man, we're in a pretty interesting period in the world.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Revel in it, man. We don't know how much worse it's going to get. I know everyone is sitting there assuming this is as bad as it gets. Man, I don't know how to tell you this, but there might not ever be a cure. What happens then? City living is like, man, it might be way easier to afford cities in 3 years.
They'll just sit there and say everybody just has to catch it.
They might.
Yeah.
And basically, that's what's already happening in America.
But I mean, that's they're going to push that even further. Like by the end of the year, if they're not that much closer, than
Like, if you're not immune, good luck, man.
yeah, because that's I honestly believe that's going to be the conclusion.
I think in about 2 months, some politician somewhere in the world is going to be like, listen, man, we have to go on about our lives.
Yeah, like that ass. Like y'all niggas gonna have to catch it, bro. Like that's what's gonna have to happen, bro.
Yeah.
Which would be tough as hell.
Mm-hmm. Very tough.
Very tough.
Man, just to think about like the time in life, the fact that I could call my mom and talk to her. I don't have to send a telegram. I don't have to send a goddamn owl or pigeon. I don't have to go by boat and send a messenger. Messenger takes like 6 months to get there. I don't have to go on a voyage. I could just communicate across the world. And there's no looming threat of death the size of nuclear warfare the way there was in the Cold War. There's no ongoing world war. We have to worry about conscription and dying so that more people in the goddamn arms industry can make money. Like, people are sitting at home and they're probably not in the most convenient situation because there's a lot of interruptions going on. But relatively speaking, like, there's plenty to be thankful for.
Imagine if when Blockbuster was going down, like a governor was like, we have to fund Blockbusters to stay up.
We have to. There's no ifs, ands, and what's about it. Everybody needs to rent their movies. How else are they going to be entertained?
Shit like that just amazes me that niggas actually like, I don't know, we have to save this. Like, no, we don't.
I understand to us, like, when them American companies like Ford and all them almost went bankrupt because they're horrible. And then the governments were like, oh, we got you with a bailout. And they gave him a bailout when the banks fucked up in 2008 and they gave him a goddamn bailout.
All that shit is crazy too, but to explain to them like y'all jobs are disappearing, no it's not, because we're like, when it just naturally disappears and niggas are still like, nah, we got you, bro. We're gonna throw money in this area that for in like 2 years it's gonna fail again.
So what if I'm Ford? I already know I can't go bankrupt because I could just play on the heartstrings of the government that will bail me out. And I believe part of the bailout might have been a loan that they had to pay back or whatever, but I know plenty of it they just did not have to pay back. And who paid for that?
American people.
Yeah.
You know what's so crazy? I saw I don't know if you've seen Mercedes' new electric car. And then like it's a new S class.
They have an S class electric car.
Probably
a hybrid.
It literally has like a Tesla dashboard and everything. And people are like, I'm not really feeling this. It looks too Tesla-ish, and you know what? I'm not really.
Oh wow, this actually looks hard as fuck.
Yeah, but then people.
This is a concept. It's not real.
But people are like, yo, I'm not really fucking with it, and you know what? I just like the way like my car engine sounds. I'm like, oh, okay, nigga. So you one of them, okay? All right, we see where you gonna be left behind.
Hard.
Yeah.
I know it's a concept because there's no way that's legal. It doesn't have mirrors. But you know why they did that? Because they know in like a few years, the government's going to be like, oh, we have cameras now. And we don't need something sticking out like this on our car. Yeah. And cameras have wide angle lenses, so there's no blind spots. We don't need blind spot monitoring. Oh, let's just fucking put a wide angle camera right there instead of a mirror. I literally said that to somebody.
You said it to Waleed.
Oh, and Waleed was like,
what?
Oh, what? I was like, do I have to explain to you? Why is everyone so stuck? Why are we so stuck as a species?
Well, Lee Deadass was like, but mirrors though.
and it's a regulation. So even cars like the new Land Rover, not the Discovery. They have, what's that new Land Rover that just came back? Whatever, 2020 shit.
I know what you're talking about too.
It has the rear view is a camera now.
Yeah.
So you don't have a seat blocking you. And you could say that to somebody and they'll be like, but why though?
But even the Corvette is like that too, where because you can't really see because the engine, and you flip it and it'll turn into the camera,
which is dope. But the reason you had to flip it is because by regulation it has to be a mirror. As if mirrors, it literally tells you there's so many problems with mirrors. The fact that things are closer than they appear, the fact that there is a fucking blind spot should be enough for you to just be like, is there an alternative? All right, let's try that. So they know the reason in this concept they don't have a goddamn mirror there, because in a few years, hopefully the government just updates the goddamn regulations and they won't need one. They'll just have a wide angle dot of a camera there. Crazy all that. And you also might not see a lot of chrome in concept cars. And it's because a lot of manufacturers believe chrome is going to be illegal soon. So they're finding other solutions for chrome.
What I'm about to say though, but there's a concept where like it's instead of like tires, it's almost like a ball, and you can hit different angles.
Oh, I've seen that.
They're already driving that.
Oh, really?
Not legally, but I'm saying like test driving and stuff like that. That shit has already been test drive. But it was just people like, nah, I like my cars with the little engine on it. I'm like, nigga, y'all niggas are retarded.
People are so willing to just accept a lower quality of life because that's what they're used to.
So retarded, bro.
Man, upgrade, just give things. It's really just being open-minded at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great trait that is to have, just being open-minded.
Or just at least acknowledging like, yeah, like if we can get better, like that's fine. Like,
well, let's at least try it.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, the immediate response, because they're so stuck, is like, but let's point out the huge flaw in what you're saying real quick, because it doesn't matter how much benefits there are, that one flaw it has is the reason why we shouldn't.
Facts.
And I'll never understand. This looks beautiful. Can I see the interior real quick? All of that. Oh my God.
It's unnecessary.
That looks incredible. Also illegal right now, but incredible though. Man, imagine this driving down the road.
That would be kind of crazy.
Look how high profile this is. Just hugging, slammed to the fucking floor. That's beautiful, man.
Oh, go on the inside real quick, because the inside looks fucking. All Mercedes is starting to look crazy inside.
Look, this taillight would not go with the regulations right now, but I'm assuming they know that's going to change.
But they can have, I don't know.
Holy!
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Oh,
they show the dash. You see the dash out of the little Tesla thing?
I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, nigga, y'all retarded right now?
Oh, man. That's fire, yo.
That is tough.
You know
That's
what?
Tough.
So businesses realize that, like, they want to be futuristic and, like, be ahead of the curve, but they can't be too futuristic, though, because they know people are stuck.
Yeah.
And they might not be ready to make the jump. And so there's plenty of companies. What was that company that had the whole DVR thing, Collectivo or something like that?
Yeah. I
never heard of that shit. I mean, after the fact, I heard about it.
Yeah.
Came out with this crazy technology, but people wasn't ready for it. So these companies are dead ass slow down innovation because y'all not ready for it.
That's a fact. That's actually a fact.
That's how wildly fast things are moving.
But then it was also the same thing with, like, I don't know. My uncle was explaining to me, like, when it came down to cars, they could have been made the jump to where they are right now. But if you go back and you'll see like cars around 2005 to 2008 look very, very similar. Mm-hmm. And then like from 2009 to like 2012, is when like touch screens were starting to be like, if maybe not a touch screen, but an infotainment system was like more common.
Yeah.
And so then they had to slowly integrate like certain things instead of just like we know you don't need fucking cassette tapes anymore, but we're just going to give you a combo of a cassette and a CD first. And then eventually we'll just remove the cassettes. Then it was, we know you now don't really need CDs. We're going to give you a CD player and an aux cord. And then we'll remove it just took forever, even though like, nigga, we don't, why are we even spending time with CD players anymore? We just need aux cords, or we just need Bluetooths, or we need infotainment systems. So now like shit is just trying to like jump up. So the fact that they're like spending money on this shit right here, because they already know for a fact like all the fucking buttons are getting to a point where it's going to be irrelevant. Like there's no point of having a button anymore. Mm-hmm. But there are niggas in the comment section like, but I like the feel, see?
Oh my God, that's beautiful. The amount of millions these companies will spend on R&D just to do research, and they'll spend this car. I can't imagine it costs tens of millions of dollars to put this car together. But now slowly, because they have this technology, Mercedes has this. They'll put like a couple of these things in the new Mercedes. Yo, is that good? Too fast, guys?
Yeah.
And they'll pace it. They'll fucking pace
They'll
it.
just be like, nah, I don't like that. I want buttons. Like, nigga, fuck. God damn it.
I don't like the steering wheel in the new C8. I don't know. So it's like Corvette was like, should we go more back? And think about for a moment, because everyone hated the Apple when it removed the headphone jack.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, no, even MKBHD, the one and only, he was angry about it. Turns out Apple predicted that everyone was going to be on Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And they wasn't going to want wired headphones anyway. And we can make the form better if we removed it. They just happen to know some shit like that.
And what's even crazier, now we're at a point where niggas actually get a fucking hard on because they have Apple earbuds. Yeah. I'm like, nigga, fucking headphone jack.
They will call you a peasant if you have wired.
Exactly.
Man, I took one picture last year and they're like,
that's actually
I thought Agent was making money.
What the fuck?
I saw a comment like that.
That's actually a great example, because like niggas could have got rid of fucking earbuds and they were mad inconvenient when we finally got to the point where we're like, yeah, I don't really need a fucking wire just tangled up around my goddamn phone every time. But niggas is like, yo, I need the option that I'm probably not going to use, but it would be convenient if you gave me that option. And niggas like, but we can make the phone better without that option. Hey, I like the option. I just need that option. Like, nigga, you're buying Bluetooth speakers. You're buying Bluetooth headphones. Like, get over yourself, nigga. So there's another spec where there's an actual, like a touch screen right there where that is at.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I noticed this because every time YouTube makes a change, everyone hates it. And then when they look back a year, they hate the fact that YouTube used to look like, man, prehistoric.
The comment section, I don't know if I'm gonna get over that, but okay.
No, genuinely, everything YouTube does, I immediately hate it. The fact that the studio beta, they're forcing us to use that instead of the classic, hate. Everything they change about the platform, hate, because I just like the way it was. Yeah. But now, like for the last 4 years, I've been catching myself like, maybe they had a point. Sometimes they don't. Google Plus was a failure, and they took it out. And some people hated the fact that they took it out.
I don't think the comment thing will ever. Maybe YouTube beta, maybe a bit more convenient here and there in some areas, as we just got to get more accustomed to it. I just hate the fact that they got rid of comment sections like that.
Yeah. So, but it's like you don't have to like everything, but just I like being around open-minded people. Like when you see this, if you immediately think to yourself like, oh, I don't know, like buttons, where's the exhaust at though? Like is exhaust? Does it look? Guys, where's the buttons?
There will be fucking attachments to electric cars to make them sound like they have a fucking engine.
I know. There are already those things.
And them niggas are sick.
If I hear a speaker sound of a goddamn exhaust coming from your i8, sick. I'm laughing at you.
Niggas are sick.
Except the fact that you bought an electric car. It's not going to sound as juicy as my M4, but you have plenty of benefits.
Niggas dead ass want to hit the fucking pedal, the acceleration pedal on an electric car and hear the vroom. Niggas are sick.
If I hear a vroom out of speaker, man.
But niggas are just sick.
Imagine it's an obnoxious, loud one too.
But that's
coming
what they
out
want.
The speaker.
Niggas are sick, bro. But that's even how the fucking the sound when you driving by fast and shit like that, and they put some of the air shit, like they boost the air. Yeah, they do that shit, which is just weird.
Okay, so I want to show you an example
Or
of
you did that shit with vacuum cleaners too. Niggas didn't think that their vacuum cleaner was working, and they're like, I gotta hear it.
Yeah.
Like, no, nigga, you can see the shit is getting picked up. Like,
exactly,
niggas are
just
weird.
like that. So this is actually a more realistic version. The e-tron I think releases next year for Audi. I don't know. He has a hatchback model of it. It doesn't look as pretty, but just know the car looks pretty.
I don't
fucking-
like the e-tron though.
I like the interior of the e-tron, and it's fast as fuck, which is beautiful. And so actually, let me just show you, and shout out Doug, you know what I'm saying? Let me show you because there was a person who drove it on the road. I forgot who it was. Oh, this one, a year ago. This was the first person to drive the e-tron on the road. So this is what it would generally look like. It's not like an ugly hatchback. Look how beautiful everything about it.
That's tough.
And I realized the wheels in the future look I'm not fucking with it, but I'm gonna try and stay open. Tesla's been trying to push that shit too.
Yeah, they have been. Tesla's been really trying to push, like, y'all niggas got to keep these fucking ugly wheels on.
Look how beautiful that looks.
That shit look crazy.
Oh man. So this is a more realistic version of, and so it's like people will see this and be like, wait.
Look at this shit, ain't nothing there.
Is there no buttons on the center console? Hold on.
Even that shit has but they don't have like the stick, the manual stick. And niggas are gonna dead ass be like, but like how do I put it in drive though? Like how do I do that?
Look how beautiful this looks. It has the regular Audi cockpit, and the gauge cluster. Everything about it just looks elegant. And this is the perfect like rich, I work for a business dad car. Because it's gonna be like over 100,000 for sure.
Before I forget, we gotta talk about Ruby Rose making 22,000 on OnlyFans in one day. Yeah, that's tough.
Hey, if y'all not watching on YouTube, you missed out. But I'm looking at an orgasmic view of Audi e-tron interior. And wow, is this beautiful. And people will find a problem with this. You don't have to like everything, man. But just don't dislike something because it's different than what you're used to.
Now,
That's
speaking
corny.
of which, though, how upset would you be if you were a porn star knowing that your footage was being just out on Pornhub for free, and now all of a sudden OnlyFans is popping and a random female can make $22K in one day?
That'd be tough.
That's crazy.
Now I say this though, man.
Well, she's not random. Ruby Rose is known. However,
Who's Ruby Rose? What'd she do?
She's a rapper.
Oh, she a rapper with OnlyFans?
And also, her nudes are going to leak immediately. I don't know why y'all niggas pay for that shit.
Okay, so first of all, guys create the market, so there's really nothing to be mad about.
I ain't mad at it. That's what I'm saying. I'm mad at the niggas because, like, nigga, they're going to leak. Like, stop.
It's free.
Stop.
And if you wait a week, you'll see it. But besides the point,
nigga, those people who were putting her nudes on the fucking reply on Twitter. I'm like, God damn, nigga.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
I'll show you.
Here's the thing,
I'll show you when we get off the pod.
Oh, you got it?
I got it. I'll show it to you.
So this is interesting. People don't notice because y'all fall for the bait because you don't know. But that's fine. You just never knew. That's cool. But you don't know. So check it out. That's their peak.
Oh, what, $22K a month? I mean, today?
That is not what they're averaging. That is their peak.
That is
now,
true.
That is an abundance of money to make even at your peak, right?
Yeah.
And they might flex it as if they do that shit. And I saw a lady on Twitter. She's like, this Bentley, I just got it with my OnlyFans money. You mean you put the down payment down?
Yeah.
I know you didn't buy that whole thing. You put down how much? 40,000, maybe 50,000?
It would actually be stupid for you to, especially in your first year, and you literally got that money, you haven't paid taxes on it yet, and you just dropped it all in a car.
But she don't know that.
That would be the dumbest thing in the world.
There is a possibility that they're making so much. Wow.
No, there's a
There
reason.
is. But I'm telling you, a large amount. I know because a lot of women is jumping into OnlyFans now because they 18,000 a month. They ain't no a month in 1 month. Or you know what they'll do? This is what I seen actually. I saw 18,000 in a week. They'll be playing with the numbers.
Yeah.
Well, how about the next 3 weeks? Can you tell us those numbers? It probably wasn't the same, was it? Ah man, it's so weird how it's normalized for OnlyFans people to flex, and I could outflex all of them on a regular. What I average is a flex to what you peaked at.
Can we talk about that for a second? How normally, like they're just normalizing putting their money,
and it's celebrated. Women are like, oh wow, get your money.
But it's not. I mean, yeah, it's celebrated, but then it's also like, why is that a thing? Because like even regardless of what you do and how you view it, empowering, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Why is that a thing to where niggas are just like uploading their fucking damn near their bank accounts at this point?
I don't know.
That's like, but nigga, like women are doing that frequently now, like to the point where it's just like they just think that that's acceptable, but like nobody else does that. Imagine if LeBron was like, Nike just paid me $100 million. Like just imagine, like a nigga, like niggas could easily do like that. That's just so weird that you just like drop like how much you made, and then you'll never drop it again. Because I swear to God, I've only seen it like this is what I did in my first 2 months.
Yeah,
and then like 6 months later, I don't see any posts from them about that anymore.
Because first of all, you're not seeing posts from people who've tried it and it failed. You're seeing posts from people who tried it and it went successful, but temporarily though. So, but then that's the unfortunate reality is some people will try it thinking that they'll get those results because that's all they've seen on social media.
Facts.
And then now you got your titty out. And,
but they're not even really doing that.
And it's one thing if it's like you entrepreneur doing your thing, working for yourself. But are you gonna work for somebody else? They might care that your titty's out. Just saying. They might care about some shit like that.
I don't understand the women who don't have nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like at least like Ruby Rose is like someone known, or like if you know and you already have a following, like if that's your main thing, like you just in the middle of. Do you
think it's possible for them to transfer? Like if you say you're top 10 OnlyFans, can you make like a YouTube and people will care?
No, I think you make a Twitch possibly.
I can see that actually.
Yeah,
there's actually, interestingly enough, there's a handful of people that's big in porn that's trying Twitch out. Because the cam sites don't get the viewers they usually do, but they know they could get the Sims is really on Twitch. Yeah, they know the Sims. I guess they're not falling for the bait no more on goddamn. What do they use? Pornhub Live or whatever the fuck is popping.
I wonder why they just didn't do that before though. Why not just game on Pornhub Live?
Let me send a quick message.
I thought you were about to say, let me check it out real quick. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know why they just don't do that. Like, cause
hey, I will throw the fucking speaker out of this house. Can you mute the music while we record?
Oh man,
whoever that is being banned.
But yeah, I don't understand why like they just don't understand like I would be streaming. I'd be putting up the new card on Pornhub Live. Like I don't understand like.
And that was Zoe Berger did. She just had her titty out while she did it.
That's what that was.
I didn't know she came. I don't think she came from porn.
That's what I'm saying.
But she played the same game. They would have. They just show some cleavage.
But you could show much more though.
On where?
On Pornhub Live than you can on Twitch.
Oh yeah, but they don't have an endemic viewer base the size of YouTube gaming or Twitch or Facebook.
If you're convincing people to
Pornhub might have a bigger viewer base than
they do on
something
Twitch,
like Twitch.
Definitely.
But it might.
They definitely do.
They don't really have people making accounts though.
So let's talk about this for a second. Why aren't y'all on Pornhub? Like deadass.
You talking about who? OnlyFans women?
Yeah, like why not just go on Pornhub Live and make that a thing?
Because that's against their morals, Lo.
No, it's not though. It's not. Their moral, the fucking line just keeps changing every goddamn 6 months. Like, nah, it ain't. It's not really. Yeah. If that's what you do, I really don't give a fuck. I just want to know, like, there has to be a reason why you ain't like nobody ain't thought about that. Like, why am I still streaming on Twitch? If they're fucking paying, if like people making like $5,000-$10,000 and all I'm doing is just sitting there playing video games with like a lot of cleavage, how much more money you think? And then you're doing OnlyFans. How much more money you think you would do for like doing that shit live? The amount of money that like niggas will actually tip to see you fucking play Call of Duty with nothing but a bra on or potentially topless.
I agree wholeheartedly. I make more money off streams than I do off videos, but I rarely stream. And I know that's the case for a lot of content creators, and that's gamers. I can't even imagine if you had some good.
Well, there'll be gamers too. They're playing Call of Duty.
Oh man,
niggas would pay a premium, bro. I'm dead ass.
Why? Yeah, yo. First of all, you could just go outside, and trust me, you're not that bad looking, man. You could bag something, man. Just try. So stop, right? Nah, bro, but if you are gonna be online doing that, at least be reasonable, man. How much you dropping, bro? Like you drop $40 a month for photos? What would your grandparents think about you right now?
$40 a month is a lot for photos. I ain't gonna hold y'all. $40 a month is a lot.
For $40 a month, she better make visits to the house.
Now, if the price went down to $20,
no,
15.
There's no one I want to see naked so bad I'd pay a fucking subscription. It's just not gonna happen, man.
In all seriousness, though, 40 is a lot though.
It is.
You just swing me a discount.
God.
Swing me the content creator discount. You're dead ass.
That's wild. Yeah, to the point, it's so big now, Lo, that I've had multiple people in my personal life be like, think about starting an OnlyFans.
Ooh, nigga.
Swear to God.
I've only had that happen once.
Yeah, and I was like, in my mind, that was like the most repulsive thing you could have said to me.
Actually,
you basically admitted, this is what it is, but before you say it, it's an admission that the number one thing you think you have to offer is your body. And it's really just like, you know, when you're playing Mario Kart and there's like a cheat code, like you take a huge shortcut.
Yeah.
You are attempting to take a shortcut. It might not always pay off, but that's what you're attempting to do. And yo, bro, there's nothing more unattractive to me than someone who's taking shortcuts.
But, the chick that I was talking to that was pregnant and
Yeah.
she did the same thing too.
She asked you?
She didn't ask me, but she put on Snapchat like, I'm thinking about doing an OnlyFans. Who's gonna sub?
Oh man.
I'm like, that's fucking tough.
Very tough.
That's tough. And the fact that anybody
Would you say yes? You would do it?
Absolutely not. And the fact that anyone would say yes to that is like, nigga, like she just she's random. Like, well, like not only she's a rando, if you're following her, you probably actually know her. So you can just go try to talk to her and fuck. Like, I don't understand why.
Word. It's true. I don't know. I guess it's just like not to get on the topic because it's almost at 2 hours. Like I think the internet existing, I feel like has increased like people's social anxiety. And I've been trying to fight it myself. Not that I have social anxiety, I don't think, but just like the fear of social situations. For example, let's say like we're talking, right? If I can't feel comfortable saying, man, shut the fuck up because I might hurt your feelings, then that's like me not being genuine. Like I'm holding back because I'm worried about the consequences. Like, are you gonna like me? I want everyone to like. Man, the message I just sent Waleed, I'm sure everyone downstairs heard that shit. And I couldn't care less. And I'm trying to like develop that skill though, to care less about what you think.
True, but there's a lot of niggas who they just care too much.
Yeah,
like
exactly. And that's a problem.
Yeah, I know it is. There's literally a nigga in my Discord right now. He'll meet somebody on Tinder and he'll go to Discord and be like, hey, yo, bro, what should I say? Like, yo, she hit me up and she was like, hey, how are you doing? And like, what should I say to that? I'm like, nigga, just talk to her. What are you talking about? And he's like, but what do I, like, how do I reply to that? And I'm like, how are you doing, nigga? Like, what are you saying?
He's sitting analyzing. Like, it's like, you don't need a game plan. Just say some shit that comes to mind. Like literally, oh my God. Okay.
I be trying to explain to him like, nigga, it'd be much better off if you actually, but we be like literally sitting there telling him shit to say. And I'll be like, it'd be 1,000 times better if you actually said what you genuinely wanted to say, because then at that point, she actually fucks with you.
And it might not always work out.
It might not, but the nigga's afraid that he ain't gonna get nobody else, so now he's cherishing the
that's what it is. It's scarcity. It's like I might never come across another girl my whole life.
It's not really scarcity. It actually ain't really that scary because the more real I've learned, the realer you are, the more who you are. Like, I don't know how to fucking say it. The realer you are, and the more, you know what I'm saying.
Kanye, is that you?
No, wait. The realer you are, and the more of who you are, the more
you are of yourself.
The more you are yourself.
There you go.
So the realer you are and the more you are yourself, the more people will actually be attracted to you.
That's
Even
true.
if they actually disagree with you, they'll be attracted because they know for a fact what you're saying is genuine and there's no games being played. But too many niggas get like, and I'm pretty sure females are like this as well. We need a female. I'm gonna call.
Okay,
I want
do it for the next pod.
Facts.
Let me read you a
I don't know if
conversation of me
it'll be the
just
next
trying
pod.
something because I just said the first thing that came to mind. First of all,
Why'd your knee just touch mine?
My bad.
You literally just adjusted yourself to touch my knee.
Oh, well, I'm doing this with my feet,
Yeah,
so that's why.
you don't play footsies with me, nigga.
Kneesies? Hey, so first of all, I don't care what I say to women on dating apps. I just try and say something clever or that's funny to me, and then if they're fucking with it,
I got a girl for you.
Don't say things like that. So there's this girl, but I didn't talk to her like the first 2 weeks because I just wasn't on the app. Like I hop on these like once every few weeks, and I was like, "The fuck are you waiting for? Say hi." And so she gave me an eye emoji and said "lol," And then I just tried something. I could have been wrong. I was like, you're probably getting progressively miserable every day on this app. Let me help you with that. I just want to see what the fuck she would say to that. She responded, lol, nope, I'm not actually. And I was like, oh, that's tough. But I responded saying, damn, just go with it, with a facepalm emoji. And but this is what she responded. Look, I'm impressed with the aggressive attitude, but I feel like you're doing too much. And it did, like, I just stopped talking to her at that point. But the point I'm trying to make is,
she liked the aggressive. Okay, I see what you're saying.
No, that wasn't the point I was trying to make.
Because she liked being taken control of.
Is that the message you got? The message I got was I just didn't care what she might have had to say. And in that conversation, I was wrong multiple times. And I wasn't miserable on the app. I just thought it'd be some funny shit to say.
Very, very true.
Man, imagine if went in Discord, though, and I was like, all right, guys. Like, yeah, so to Cheyenne Parker, you know how I said I was going to shoot my shot? This is me shooting my shot, and she didn't respond. I'm depressed about that.
Oh, man.
This is what I said. It's a little corny, but when I'm doing it on Instagram, it had to be a little bit more safe because they could screenshot it. I was like, I'm thinking we can go to Paris for the proposal and St. Lucia for our honeymoon. Thoughts?
That's okay.
That's corny.
Oh, man.
But it's safe, though. I can't say nothing to a WNBA player like, the fuck are you waiting for? And then she screenshots it, call me Agent Zero with a fucking check mark. Look, he's wilding right now. And then I'm like, oh, man, now I got to explain to everybody what the fuck I was thinking when I said that shit. So that shit ain't
maybe
work.
You a cornball ass nigga when you talk to women?
No, I actually rarely do things like that.
Okay, because...
but I almost never take shots on Instagram, though. So that's
also, it's cool to be a cornball ass nigga. Just own it. Because some women they find that cute. Like, they think like, oh, you're corny.
I've never met a
corny.
woman that found that cute.
But you're not corny, so you're not even attracting those type of women. So you wouldn't even know. I know, in fact, some people like corny jokes type of thing, like stuff like that. They think it's flattering. You know, like you think what I did with Pink is corny, right? Where I got up early and I made the breakfast, the waffles. She appreciated that. Hey, man, I really thought, like, and contemplated how much money I would spend on the OnlyFans, and it's no more than $2. Like that, I
wouldn't even do that.
And it would be only someone I really, really want to see.
Like
if I spend more money on Netflix, which I have already, I can't. There's no way I can spend more money on Netflix and get way more entertainment and watch like 2 hours of one movie, and I'm only scrolling through your timeline of pictures like once or twice.
Yeah, if I had to debate between your photos on OnlyFans, your 10 photos, or the whole library of Netflix for 4 months,
yeah, like,
it's not a debate for me. I'm going with Netflix.
So like 40 is too much, but
2 is enough.
Throw the discount, and then we'll talk.
The
it would definitely have to be like $2 on deadass. That would be the most. When you say you wouldn't do it at all.
I would never. I actually hopped on the app because Too Mad tweeted that he was top 3%. And I was like, oh man, I didn't even know he had OnlyFans. Also, that's hilarious. So I went on there to see if like there was a leaderboard or something, but they were like, oh no, before you move forward, you have to make this account. And I was like, I don't really want an account or this company at all to know my email. So I just gave up. But I was kind of curious to see what Too Mad had on his shit. Because I imagine it's just his titties out. Because he's weird like that on Twitter. He just be flapping his titties and shit. You know what I'm saying? What an interesting
I don't think I can have an OnlyFans if I'm in a serious relationship.
You can't.
Yeah, I can't.
You can't.
Yeah, no. That'd be kind of weird if I had another woman's nudes in my phone. Yeah, that would be massively disrespectful. That would be crazy as shit. Just thinking about that. How do you explain that to the person you're in a relationship with? Like, I'm paying to have these nudes in my phone right now?
And you know that, like, when you walk outside, like, everybody has their nudes. All of Reddit has their nudes.
Yeah, y'all niggas is weird, bro. Stop paying for that shit, bro. Stop paying for it, bro. There's so many other things that you could be spending money on, bro. Stop paying for it.
I also, on a side note, I feel like this podcast never gonna end at this point.
I'm going to cut out some of this shit. So okay,
cool. Isn't it crazy, like, how willing people are to give up nudes? I'm like, man,
not really.
Within like a week of knowing me, is like, man, I didn't have to ask. Like, I didn't even have to provoke you to do that. You just out of your own will were like, is this what you want? Well, yeah, of course it is. But why do you trust me? You don't know me yet. That's so crazy to me. And I would never do nothing to betray the trust of anybody who gave me something confidential. That's because I'm a good guy. But most people are not. Like, you will never get a picture like that from me, ever. Because even the 0.5% chance of you sending that to anybody else and then them recognizing whatever, etc., is I don't want to take that risk at all. But people feel so willing to just like, I don't even have to ask. It's like, is this like, so you like, I have more. you have more? It's like, yeah, I just like, I have a library. And I know that's the same library she probably sent to a whole bunch of other guys too. It's not like she took a photo fucking specifically for me. She going through the same vault.
This is going to a whole nother conversation we don't have time for, but I think a lot of it's just how some women seek validation from men.
Word, because what are you doing? Like someone sent you nude. What's your response?
I'm definitely like saying like the purple demon emoji. Yeah, for a fact.
You ever just like heart it and then just leave it at that? Is that disrespectful?
It depends on how long we've known each other. I've definitely thought about asking that recently too. Like, just fucking send the nudes, bro. Just send the fucking nudes.
Oh, you don't ask?
Huh?
I would ask if I wanted.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I
don't. I'm still,
I wouldn't cold ask though, especially if she hasn't sent
This
before.
This wasn't cold ass. No.
Okay.
This was kind of leading up to something. It was like, just fucking send the nudes, bro. Just send it.
Come on.
However, I don't really know. Like, maybe it just depends on how long they know you, how much they trust you. But I kind of just feel like it depends on the mood and how I'm replying. But most of the time, it's just the demon emoji. You know what I'm saying? The purple demon emoji. That's what it is.
I don't even know, man.
Let me open your phone right now. Let me see your last used emoji before we end the podcast.
It's most likely to be a crying laughing emoji. Let me see. Yep, crying laughing emoji. But I got the demon one in my goddamn recent, of course. What is that? Oh man.
Wait, but then the demon is not. It ain't too far.
Man, not too far out. I know
the
you got the eye emoji. Yeah, you said the eye one a couple times.
I definitely throw the eyes. I definitely throw the eyes.
Oh man.
And I throw the hearts, the heart eyes. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I kind of removed LMAO and LOL from my text repertoire.
And I just throw the emoji. Yeah.
No, I don't even do emojis no more. I just need you to know that I'm never really laughing when you say shit to me.
Oh my god.
For real, like, because I feel like LOL, LMAO, and stuff like that is used when like you feel a little awkward. It just gives out awkward vibes. Like he wasn't really comfortable with what you just said, so let me just drop this LOL there for him to know that. So I don't do that at all. Like if you see me send you a LOL or LMAO, like I'll only send it to people like I don't care what I text. Like what are my last texts with Vortex have to be something retarded. I'll send Vortex LMAOs because I don't care. Like he said, your calendar is here to remind you that it is your son's birthday. The one you left behind 14 years ago. Would you like to send him a gift?
Wow.
And I was like, send him hope. Hope that I'll return soon. And then I won't. I want him to suffer miserably. Like to Vortex where we just fuck around like that. Like I'll send Vortex some goddamn.
Do you want to be in a relationship with a woman where you can do that too?
Yes. I don't want to have to feel like I got to be a version of myself. Like,
but not like... Oh, a virgin. I think you said virgin. I was like, why would you want to feel like that?
Yeah, I would love that more.
But
than
like to that
else.
extent though?
To text like that?
Yeah.
I would hope so. I wouldn't be no relationship with somebody where I couldn't do that. There's no way.
That's interesting. I guess that's it. Shout out to everybody on Apple, Google, Spotify.
If you're not texting like that, then you don't have the same sense of humor.
Very true, but I would assume there's like levels to it. Like there's certain things I was saying to you and believe.
I need you to joke about my kid that we don't have.
Yeah, that's wild. I would that's just wild as shit. I think there's things I would joke about you and Waleed that I don't think I would joke about with my brother, and vice versa.
Your brother is the most non-filter guy on earth.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Bill Burr is a lit boy.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not. Your
Omar
brother
wanted
says the craziest shit, bro.
Omar wanted to be on the podcast too.
Oh man, we can't invite him back though. The top comments gonna be like, "You better have Omar on the next podcast."
Yo, shout out to everybody out there on Google Play, Stitcher. What's the one you keep saying? Audio Mac, on Spotify.
Okay, fuck Audio Mac.
No. Audio Mac.
Throw up the set.
No, stop. Right. Audio Mac, Spotify.
You throw your middle fingers like this or like this?
I don't throw middle fingers at all. I don't know when the last time I've actually like thrown a middle finger at it somewhere.
I remember when I was 4 and I was like, Mom, what is this? And she's like, don't ever do that shit again. And I just did this and she beat the fuck out of me.
The level of disrespect is ridiculous.
I didn't know what it was.
And Stitcher, Apple, rate us a 5-star. And I guess, what we leave in the comment section?
Fuck Audio Mac.
No.
Fuck Audio Mac.
Wild if on there be a whole bunch of Apple.
Fuck Audio, yo. That's what we gonna put down, man. Go ahead, do that.
Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell, so you can join the
Noti gang.
And as always, shout out to all the word of mouth people. Last podcast was amazing. Thanks to y'all. It was crazy that like mac and cheese night was like a thing. Like that was the actual.
I know.
That was the actual thing, and niggas was actually enjoying it. Man, next week is going to be hectic. Or this upcoming week is going to be
very hectic. It says 3:30, and I have to wake up at 7 to go to a studio to see if I could rent it before coming back and planning an A&P video. Before working on the 2 uploads I have, one is sponsored.
Also, the NBA is going to come back in like 10 days.
Word. I have enough rest before the NBA comes back. Gotta watch my Raptors win a championship again.
Okay, on that note, I'll see y'all later, bro. I'll see y'all later. Because their first round exits. Just to let you know. No.
How much you want to put on that?
Their first round exits.
Put money on it.
I'm cutting it out. It's cool.
Put money on it.
It's cutting out.
Put 100,000 on it.
First round exits?
Yeah.
It depends on who they facing.
Oh, of course it depends, bitch.
I mean, if they face Orlando, then they're gonna get knocked out.